Prophet Marshall Occurrence back at it. So this video is going to be about the things ahead, the future, the things to come, the things that's going to happen. And it's important because people act like there's some hope, a false hope. But long as they are playing, long as they think it's a game, then we about to win. It's about to be a whole different situation than what you already experiencing right now. It's gonna be a whole different situation. And you can take that as a game. They've been taking it as a game, and I've been taking advantage of it. Every step of the way, I've been taking advantage of every little dumb, goofy game they play. Oh yeah. And so, see, how it looks like it's going is that most people just feel it's better to just let the world die than let these disgusting people live. Let these disgusting people die. Even if we gotta sacrifice ourselves, we rather, as the global community, we rather die than let these Americans live. That's how dedicated we are. We rather just let the whole world just go before we let these people live any longer. That's how dedicated you gotta be. You gotta be so dedicated that we'll just go ahead and let this world go before we let these people live. Ain't you starting to feel this feeling of full dedication that in spite of the dreams or the things we might aspire to do, because I would like to get remarried again to a nice woman, a nice good woman, but I'll sacrifice all those dreams in order to see these people dead. I'll sacrifice whatever it takes. So we're going to talk about the future, going into the future. Because like I said, this country is becoming Hispanic and Latino, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but the white community is threatened by that. This white community is threatened. And that means there's going to be manipulation. That's the main thing on the horizon right now, is manipulation. Manipulation is on the horizon. And we don't know how they're going to manipulate, but that manipulation is going to be some form of either control or some form of depopulation in order to pull the balance to where white America is ruling over this country, and people would expect white America to rule over this country. That's what's at stake right now. Some type of manipulation. And see, if you're simple-minded, you're gonna just look to Trump. Trump is one man. You talk about Americans that make this country move the way it do, who you don't even know. People that you don't even know, faces that you don't even see. That's who's going to be thinking in this direction. People that you've never seen before. So you have to prepare for all of this to start to end because of wild and bugged out people. All the start, even with the leadership of America, it's going to start to end. So This is what is going on. It's nothing else that's going on. That's all that's going on. All that's going on is us looking forward to the future, to these wars that's about to escalate. Okay? And we're not trying to get along with people. I mean, I'm not even thinking about that. Anybody thinking about getting along with people? It's like everybody's choosing their sides. It's like you either on good and evil side. That's it. It's not. I'm not trying. We're not trying to. A civil war is brewing right now. A civil war is brewing because of these crazy people that think they tough. Like, they started a civil war, and I think that they should be put out and thrown to the dogs like scraps. But they're cowards. They don't have that kind of manhood. Many of them are homosexuals. They don't have manhood. What you have to understand is many homosexuals don't have no manhood. Pay attention. It's not that they just want to be feminine or a girl. They don't have adulthood. They don't have any morals or maturity. Most of them here in America don't have any manhood, and it's the truth. Pay attention to how they think. So they think like boys and not like men. They don't have any morals. They don't have any adulthood perspective. It's just all party like when you was a kid, right? They do that forever. And at some point we grow up. You know, we stop smoking. We stop drinking as much. We definitely stop smoking as much. And we grow up. That's what type of people we dealing with. And they'll hide behind camouflages. They'll hide behind a camouflage energy to act like, oh, I'm just a nice little kid. Don't pay that no attention, because God ain't paying that no attention. Okay? And that's that. Okay? I'm not, like me, how you beat this idea is that, you know, I'm not a social person right now. I'm not trying to be cool with nobody right now. Based on everything I've been through, I'm not trying to really kick it with nobody. I'm not really trying to know nobody out here. And that's real. You know, do I still connect with good human beings? Yes, I do. But it's an art to how I do it. I don't just walk around like the social butterfly I used to be. I used to be a social butterfly, but I don't do that no more. There's too many gang stalkers, and it's too much of a community effort against the prophet. So why would I step out there and I know it's all a community effort? So you see, I'm on point. You know, I'm not. And so if I'm on point, I'm not opening the door to anybody coming into my life or trying to talk to anybody. And if you misinterpret that, and you know the politics, what that tells you about your IQ. You know the politics. Okay, so then how should I carry myself? Okay, so then, you know, I question people's IQ when you can sit up and know what I'm being put around, and you expect me to be cordial. Maybe you think I don't know, so I'm supposed to still act like social because I don't really know. Like I'm supposed to be halfway social because I'm just here and I'm going to be social here because I don't really know what's going on here. No, it's not that type of situation. Okay? We want to make it clear that we don't make these people relevant no more. I'm going to do a whole video about this. We're not making them relevant anymore. There's real stuff going on. There's other real stuff going on, and we're not making them relevant. So we curse, what we do as God's people, we curse their relevancy. Okay? because they're not relevant. Especially the gay part of this group. They're not relevant anymore. That's what it is. And they're begging for relevancy. It's like a drug to them. So then what you have to do is stop making videos about these people. That's why I stopped. I don't make, if you notice, I rarely will make a video unless I'm trying to prove a major point where I talk about any secret societies, because all it is doing is making them relevant. They got the philosophy of no promotion is bad promotion. Any way you promoting them, they glad. And that's it. So we starve irrelevant people from getting any attention. And I guarantee you, when you close the door like that, and it don't matter what they do against me, don't worry about that. Don't put any energy out there. Sit silent and let God have his perfect. Because all they doing is for you. They want a response. They want to hear you say, "Oh, that's so bad." They get off on that. Okay, so then don't feel sorry for me, because I'm about to leave here. I'm about to leave New York. So I'm not even gonna be in this situation much longer. So that's how I just look at it. That's how I choose to perceive it. I'm gonna dig my heels in and just dig in and just endure it until I leave, and that's all I'm gonna do. And so that's all we doing. And that's it. Other than that, man, we gonna touch on these real issues. What's going on right now? This war in Iran. So they just touched down in the Middle East. So that's very, very, very good news. They just touched down in the Middle East, because it's gonna be escalation. They got troops over there. That already tells us. I mean, they gonna put troops over there if they ain't gonna have a ground invasion? So it's escalated. And ultimately, that's going to affect. This is why, if you're wondering why a man of God want escalation, it's because it takes these chess moves. We're at war too, right? We established that, right? We established that a war is understood. War is declared when there's a significant number of people against us for a significant amount of time, right? That's all you need to declare war, and that's it. We don't have to feel, it's no emotions. See, when you get into the emotions and all these other things and all these weak politics and all these whack politics, then people sit back. You know what I'm saying? No, you don't need, listen, you see a significant number of people against me, right? You see they've been against me X amount of time, right? That's it. That's what make you settle on it. Okay, they've been against me X amount of time. Okay, they seen my life, right? Okay, time tells you everything. Okay, it's been a significant amount of people. That's all we need. That's it. We don't split no more hairs. We don't talk about nothing. The more you talk about things to these people, that's the Jedi mind trick. You shut it down. You shut it down. Okay, it's nothing to talk about. Okay, it's a significant amount of people. They went into war or clown games against us for X amount of time. That's all we need. That's it. Now that we established that it's war, we change our whole position. Now we don't have it's no more negotiation. We don't need to talk. Don't worry about nothing. Don't talk about things as like it's a street fight. This is not a street fight. This is war. And we're going to be professional. Like I said, I've already went to the UN. I've already went to the UN about all of this. Because all this is America using the white man's format of the Freemasons all over the country. It's not that they even bad or big. They had decades to build this. It's like building a skyscraper. And you act like you built it overnight, or you just threw it up overnight. That's the type of respect they trying to act like it's something that the present day people deserve respect for. They don't deserve no respect for that. They didn't do anything. They just took advantage and joined the group, and that's all they did. So, we do not acknowledge these people no more. At any cost, at no cost, we do not acknowledge them. They can't kill us. We're not worried about none of that. Okay? Sun Tzu taught that if you do not fear death, nothing is impossible to you. Nothing is impossible to the people, and I'm paraphrasing, that do not fear death. We're not going back and forth with these. They beneath us. What we're focused on is America collapsing. So the highest level of our thought process, see, this is how it all happens. It's people that make you focus on stupid stuff. They've been doing this to you in so many ways on different dynamics of life, making you focus on stupid stuff. So I'm trying to refocus you on what we're supposed to be focused on. How you have a war mentality and you don't take the bait or focus on the wrong things. You focus on what you're supposed to focus on. You know what you're supposed to focus on? This war in Iran. That's what they don't want you to focus on. They want to dumb that down. That's a problem, bro. They already killed the leader. That's going to be beef forever. And then the son is now the leader. See, that's how we box these lames and these homosexuals out, because they don't want no part of the war. They don't want to think about that. They want to think about party, party, party. But as a heterosexual man, you have times where you don't think about sex, right? Like, and you ain't thinking about sex all the time. You got time where you sit down and think about other stuff, where you're not aroused and you're not trying to get aroused. Your mind shifts from one track mindedness from sex to other things, right? Right. And it's no hentations of sex at all. Right. They don't do that. They always charge sexually. And that's not normal. See, that's what makes them dysfunctional in their mind. They always think about sex all the time, bro. I know what I'm talking about. And that's not normal. And that's how they lead into pedophilia and all different other kind of stuff. Because if you constantly putting your mind on sex all the time, over and over again, how you ain't gonna have a dysfunctional mind? That's what it is. That's not normal. I'm not saying every person does thinks about pedophilia, but you can't think about sex all the time, and that's why I shy away from people like that too. Either party or sex or whatever. That you can't do it all the time, literally, and they do almost literally. So we just separating ourselves and distancing ourselves for more than one reason. See that part? That is, it's not what you do, is how you do it. It's not what you do, who you do, it's how you're doing it. You know what I mean? It's not who you're doing, it's what you're doing. All the time? Nah. That's kind of cheesy to me. It's cheesy. Think about sex all the time. It's cheesy, man. It's kind of cheesy. So, man, I just have a more mature approach to life. And right now, I'm not thinking about none of these Americans. Are you? I'm thinking about World War III possibly. And people say it'll never happen, but people are joining the war. Let me help you understand how World War III has to happen. First of all, there are certain countries that will not play a role in World War III significantly, which might be South America, Mexico, Africa, Australia, in the South Pacific, to a certain degree. What needs to only happen for World War III regionally, right, is Europe and the Middle East. Those two right there. And they already in it. All that needs to happen is Europe in World War III. I mean, Europe in the Middle East. That's all that needs to happen. All that needs to happen is escalation in Europe and escalation in the Middle East. And obviously escalation with America, and all of that is already in going on. It's already happening. So for people that say it will never happen, let me show you the chemistry. All it takes to what it all takes for it to all come together. All it takes is Europe and the Middle East for the most part. All it takes is all those countries in Europe to join one side and people join another side. Europe, the Middle East, and China, and the Far East. And they're all involved. It's already tension with China and Taiwan and Japan. All of that is tension right now. And Vietnam is ready for war with America. Vietnam is already getting ready for a second war. So, if you think world war means literally, it has to be all it has to be basically, let's make this very understood. The main superpowers, they got to be involved in this World War III this time around. This time around, World War III only has to have China, North Korea, Iran, Russia, France, UK, all of that is shaky right now. America, and that's it. Anywhere in South America is not going to cause World War III. Mexico probably ain't going to cause World War III. See what I'm saying? World War III is going to be Europe in the Middle East. That's how it always going to be. Because once Europeans are at war, everybody's at war, buddy. Hold on, listen. Once Europeans are at war, everybody's at war, buddy. Once Europeans are at war, everyone's at war. You don't have to worry about Africa. You don't have to worry about South America. I say respectfully. Once Europeans are at war in Europe, and I say that respectfully too. Once Europeans are at war, the Americans are at war, they already at war, and the Middle East and the Far East is tension there. It's all together. That's all it takes. And everybody else is going to follow and pick sides. So basically, it's just the big dogs face off and everybody picks sides which big dog's side they own. That's how it works. That's how it works. Everybody picks sides between the big dogs. And right now, it's America and Israel on one side and Iran on the other side. And people feel like it's already wrong how America approached it. That's what's making it a substantial war and tension in the whole world because of how America approached it. If they would have approached it differently, it wouldn't be tension in the whole world. The tension is how America did it. That's how they, just killing the leader, and we still, they tell you why. They say it because he killed a lot of people or whatever, but we need receipts, in these days and times. With these politicians, people need receipts. People want to see timelines of what you're talking about. See, the way you would do it in an innovative world like now, you would pull out a portfolio and show us the timeline of this Iranian leader killing Americans. And even though we can assume it probably happened, a timeline is the receipts concerning the whole global community. Without receipts, we gonna think like it's just Donald Trump making another Trump move, like blowing up boats in the Caribbean. It's gonna come off like that. When that happened less than a year ago, months ago, 2-3 months ago, last time they blew up a boat, about 2 months ago, that's coming off like blowing up boats. going over there in Iran is coming off like blowing up boats. And that's how people looking at it. You see what I mean? It's coming off like taking Maduro up here to Brooklyn where I'm at right now. That's how it's coming off. Okay? And so for that reason, tension is against America and people gonna choose sides. Iran is gonna get a lot of help, surprising help, because of how America did things and how Trump is doing things. Iran is gonna get a lot of help. See, this is where your mind need to be. This is where your mind needs to be as a grown man. Not witchcraft. You see what I'm saying? Okay? It's redundant, at this point. It's tied. It's a tied game. And, and they know it themselves. It's a tied game. And now there's more interesting things to focus on, which is this world war for real men. I'm not focused on no witchcraft. I'm focused on this war over here. Okay? Because it's not just Iran, Israel, and America. It's not that simple. A lot of people getting involved over there. And that's working to our favor. It may seem cruel, but war is cruel to some people. But you gotta grow a backbone and realize, look, man, in order for us to get all these people to pay back for what they did, for them to get what they deserve, how is it gonna happen? Realistically. I'm the realistic general. I'm gonna break it down realistically how it has to happen. How it has to happen is these people have to have the system collapsed on top of their head. This system gotta fall. This system has to fall. And when it does, life ain't gonna be worth living for them people. You can let them go. You can let them go. It's like a snake that bites you. Oh, we can let you go now. Like a dog get bit by a snake. Okay, you can go ahead and go now. The damage done. That's how it's gonna be once this system collapses. Oh, they can run around and do whatever now. And that's when me and you will be ready to rest our souls and live in heaven. When once this country collapses, I don't care what happens after that. I can rest when this American country collapses. See, you got to remember, for me to feel this way, you have to understand, this has been years of playing around my life, playing around my psychology, playing around my character, trying to assassinate my character to the community with every single year. Okay, so this is not something that happened 3 months ago. And if you're not conscious of that, you will act like I have an unreasonable attitude, like this happened 3 months ago, and it didn't. This was years ago. So you're talking about an ongoing war that we've been fighting. And I knew it was going to escalate to World War III. I told people this would happen. You can go back and watch my videos, man. World War III started out psychologically, with all this psychological stuff that the Americans are doing against us. This is how World War III started. Because God decided that it don't need to go on no more. If this is how his people are treated, then why would God leave the world open for business? That part. You see where it's going? He's not going to do that. He's not going to let this world be open for business. See, you used to the past where people died and the world moved on. I know, that's what people thinking. You used to people died and okay, back to business. I'm going to work. Rush hour traffic. Breakfast at a diner. People gone and it's back to business. Not this time, buddy. See, if you was paying attention, you would know that this time is different. It's not, listen, buddy, this is not going to work out. It's not going to work out. Can I tell you all the details as a prophet? Even as a prophet, I do not dare to tell you all no details. I'm a wholesome, healthy prophet. Instead of trying to prophesy like some people do and get themselves in trouble, and and we don't know if you got a spirit of divination, that part, because you talking about stuff that really ain't got nothing to do, ain't that connected with God, this little emotional stuff, this little stuff like some of these prophecies about other spouses and everything. I guess they call that a word of knowledge, but it's almost borderline carnal, right? Like, is God really telling people these things is what you have to question. I don't get myself in trouble by doing that, because I feel like it's kind of borderline, almost like divination. You know what I'm saying? Psychic divination kind of stuff, where you telling people things on the internet, and I think that actually came from psychic community on the internet. All that, what we think is Christian, whereas they giving you these words of knowledge, and this is going to happen, and that. I think that the Christians that's like that are influenced by psychic community, because you can easily see them doing that. You can easily see them posting a video saying this person is this person going to be doing that, this person is going to come here, this person going to come there, etc., etc. And it just don't come off as God's a spiritual thing. See, that's why I'm wholesome. If you pay attention, it's no possibility of me being a false prophet. It's no possibility. Because the real definition of a false prophet is someone who prophesies lies, who prophesies something and it doesn't come to pass. That's it. It's not a moral problem. See, an American definition of a false prophet, it means you have a moral problem. You claim to be a prophet, but you contradict yourself morally, not even the prophecies. See, that's an American definition that I watched, and the Lord, I believe the Lord showed me this. That's a definition that is not biblical. The biblical definition of a false prophet is someone who prophesies and it doesn't come to pass. Nothing happens. That's a false prophet. And now you see why they hated him, because imagine people saying all this stuff is going to happen and everybody's sitting around listening, and they know what real prophets are, and nothing happens. That's what people have a problem with. Now, I can show you prophets that's morally made moral mistakes in the Bible. So if they contradict their morality, if it's a matter of you thinking a prophet contradict their morality, then why does it say a prophet is not without honor and except in his own home country? He already has he already has somebody bringing dishonor to discredit him. Why does it say that for all prophets? Because the devil is going to attack the prophet before he gets in his position, his or her position. So as far as seeing a prophet is the one going to have all the rugged path of all kind of stuff. If you show me your life and you went through all this stuff, I believe you're a prophet, because that's what happens to a prophet. They go through all type of wars, all type of stuff. Their whole life. So then you can, in over here in the real Christianity, I don't discredit a prophet for mere being questionable in morality. It comes to either false prophecies or false doctrine. Those two things for me. That's how I would say somebody's a false prophet. But more, you ain't gonna never be perfect. Let's keep it 100. Let's keep things in proper perspective. You ain't gonna never be perfect as a prophet, right? Right. So I think people got these cartoon versions of what a prophet is. A prophet is not a perfect person. So you gotta make sure you're not being corny, and you don't know how to bring the idea of a prophet into the real world because of you being corny as a community, where you think a prophet's supposed to be perfect, because you know what I'm saying, and you're not able to bring it into the real world because of all these images of what you thought a prophet was, cartoon like images of a prophet, and you can't bring it into the real world and the 21st century, considering everything in the 21st century. Some people can't bring a prophet into the whole world of what we live in right now without making them a cartoon. Like, you think this person, see what I'm saying? When you sitting back on this person, like you're doing, like, you don't sit back on me. I don't sit back on nobody. When I say sit back, like you a committee and you're a judge over me. No, that's not your position. You see what I mean? There's certain people in America, you think your position is to try to find out if I'm real or fake. Let me help you with that. How long do you think God wants you to stay in a position of trying to figure out whether I'm real or fake? How long do you think he wants you there? How long do you think God wants you there? 5 years? Sorry, buddy. God don't play those kind of games. So then you become a type of person that's actually false yourself. You become an artificial person yourself out here on your own agenda, thinking you're serving God's kingdom, thinking you're a righteous African community or American community that is trying to find out who this person is for years and years, and it's not the Spirit of God. So if it ain't the Spirit of God, we go to war. And that's why all of this is happening. Because you thought you was going to come over here and play with me as long as you want, and God did not allow it. Okay, I mean, let's keep in mind that you don't have a righteous cause as Americans. Okay, so what? Even if so if I meet your satisfaction, we're still not going to do anything together. What me and you going to do together? So if I'm real, then what happened? You just turn around and go to hell, right? You just go back home and go to hell. So if you find me out to be real, what you do after that? You don't serve the Lord, do you? See what I'm saying? That's not the Spirit of God, buddy. The Spirit of God would be, if you found out who I was, you would then connect to that, and we would have a purpose. That's not what you plan on doing. See, that's the only thing that makes sense. Think about it. That don't make sense. You just coming to check me out, and then you gonna go back and go to hell yourself. That's self-explanatory. You was not in a position to judge me. You going to hell, right? Okay, so how you a committee over me? Because you appointed yourself. In your culture, you thought you have this culture where we gonna find a person out. We gonna find out if this person is righteous or this or that. These certain Africans think we gonna find out if he's real or not. See, I know I am a real prophet, but the worst thing could have been told to Africans that I was a prophet in America. You know why? Because all they gonna do is try to come and see if you're real or not. That's it. That's all I've been through. Right or wrong. But then what after that? See, I want to show you where you're fraudulent. What happens after that? If you find out I'm real, what happens after that? You don't serve God. You don't serve the Lord. So then what happens? That's what I'm saying, little buddy. That's not, listen, that's half of the situation. God don't bring half of the situation. Your purpose is not divine. It's not a divine purpose. And it's always going to be a problem when it's not a divine purpose. It's not a divine purpose. How we know you ain't got yourself together as a community. That's how we know. So then that's why it's gonna equate to ghetto and ratchet behavior, because it's not divine. So let's understand that the black people's position against me is not divine, right? Okay, that's settled. So stop acting like it's some African committee that's trying to figure me out, for like as if they are appointed divinely in that position. That's not the case. So what winds up happening is, when I'm real, you go to war with God's kingdom goes to war. God's kingdom goes to war with you. Because God did not appoint you to put me through this. And see what I'm saying? Now you look like a clown because you couldn't finish and you couldn't make it make sense. You couldn't make it make sense what you was doing because it was not divine. How you coming to see me and you ain't got yourself together? Make it make sense, bro. Make it make sense. You did. This is basically what it was. For us that are African American, you already are spiritually inclined culturally, so you thought you could come out here and just see what's up. Oh, that's it right there, buddy. You kind of spiritually inclined, religiously inclined. So once the word got around, you wanted to come out here and check it out for yourself. You know the problem with that? God did not appoint you to do it. That's the problem. Okay. So all of this is not even appointed by God. It's not, no. It's not that you can't do nothing. Because the most important situation is, I'm God's servant, right? Glory to his name. I'm God's servant. You don't supposed to do nothing. You don't supposed to do anything. See that part? And that's where you're a control freak and you feel like you need to do something and you don't need to do nothing. See, you wind up getting addicted to the wrong perspective, where you obsessing over me and who I am, and it became a ratchet game, right? The most foolish game you could have ever played. Playing around a prophet. Okay, and it's not so much about me, who I am personally. It's about the position. Just like in the military, if you slap around a general, you just walk up to a general and slap him, what you think gonna happen to you? Most likely you probably gonna get beat up on the spot and nobody ain't gonna do nothing about it. If you slap a general and a couple other soldiers come rough you up and break a couple bones and break a couple ribs, I guarantee you nobody won't sympathize with you. Because it's not who that person is personally, it's the position that you disrespected. It's the same thing with me. It's not who I am personally. You don't know me personally. Now you realize that. You realize you don't know me personally, right? You disrespected a prophet position. Just like when I stepped into this position and I got myself together, you lost, didn't you? But when you see me out in the world, you didn't think I was in that. You didn't think I was born for that position. So once I cleaned myself up and I got off the streets and I started being pure and I stopped having sex, I haven't had sex in a whole year. You start to realize the position. See what happened to you? And you know why we don't feel sorry for you as a community? Because your mom taught you not to come out here playing with people you don't know. That's the main golden rule that I know that you know, because you in dangerous neighborhoods as black people. That's 7 out. Okay, if you grew up in the hood, I'm pretty sure your mom told you not to talk to everybody and play with everybody. That's how we know culturally you know better. How we know culturally you know better, because you raised to know better in the hood. Your parents ain't gonna have you out here slipping where they ain't never told you don't talk to everybody and deal with everybody. Okay, so then it's no excuse. The reason is you was ratchet and ghetto, and this was a sipping tea moment for you. I'm equating it to what it is. Well, white people can't equate it to what it is. It was a sipping tea moment for you. It was a sipping tea moment for you. That's it. I became nothing more than a sipping tea ratchet ghetto moment for you. That's it. And it still is that. That still was lingered in the air. Is this sipping tea type of energy. That's all it is. Now, the problem with that is, listen, buddy, you messed around and played with a real prophet. You should have knew one was coming to America. But what you thought is, I had to be this idea of what a prophet is to you, how I carry myself. But then a prophet is going to it's going to be multi-dynamic. And in this case, in America, I'm going to be addressing things that is part of this culture. I'm going to know a lot of stuff, a part of this culture. You see what I'm saying? And if you're not able to incorporate a prophet into the present time, because see, let's understand, obviously, self-explanatorily speaking, what is the nature of a prophet? A prophet is obviously someone that's ahead of everybody. Self-explanatory, right? So how would I be aware of the internet and all these things that's going on, and I'm ahead of you? And I have the dynamic of me. My nature is to be ahead of everybody. So basically, a prophet is a futuristic person. I can even remember when I was wearing my hair a certain way where people thought it didn't make sense when I was doing it. I was wearing single braids, like dreads, and dyeing them yellow and everything. And I remember my cousin told me, "Oh no, that would fit me as a girl. That's too loud." Now everybody doing it. Now everybody, that was back in 2009. Back in 2009, I was wearing single braids with dyed yellow. Everybody know that. Sometimes us as prophets, literally, physically, we do stuff physically, even far as fashion, before everybody else do it. Because you already somehow you already in the future. You're showing glimpses of the future. You're showing a glimpse of the future. I do believe that's possible. Because I remember I was doing stuff way before everybody else. A lot of stuff. I stopped taking inventory of it. The stuff that I would do before other people was doing it. But that's the nature of the prophet. Everybody thought I was tripping when I was wearing single braids and dyeing my hair like light, real light, and wearing single. Now everybody wear dreads. But that was before everybody was wearing dreads. Now everybody got dreads. But I was wearing single braids, which is like look like dreads, and I was wearing dye in my hair, and now everybody doing that. That's all I'm saying, bro. I can show you pictures. I can show you the picture. I still got the pictures. But see, I just let people understand. Listen, man, I'm not telling you nothing wrong. I'm not trying to down you in any way. I'm not trying to belittle anybody or belittle America or black people or white people or whatever. You're feeling the force of the nature of who you are contrast with righteousness. You're feeling the nature of what you are doing contrast with righteousness. And that's how a prophet is going to speak. That contrast. Water and oil. A prophet is not everybody's friend. And see, that's how people want to equate me to. I'm not your homie. I barely let people call me their homie or something. Nah. I know rules and regulations in the streets. I understand those things. But just like a military general, I can relate to you, but I still am in a certain position. And I'm not a homie. I'm a comrade. Because I filtered out a lot of the culture. You see why I would say that? I can be a comrade, but I'm not a homie. But I can use the term to help you understand me. I can be like a homie, you know what I'm saying? But I'm a comrade. I'm not a homie. And this is more the progression of this perspective is because I'm not with the culture. So you ain't gonna get no homie vibes out of me. You follow me? No, because I'm not all in the culture and I don't ride with everything that black people need. You see what I'm saying? So it ain't important for me to say that. It is. Because you're gonna expect me to ride with certain things and how you like, come on, man, why you like this? Because I supposed to be like this and you don't get it. This is righteousness contrasting with the community, man. And you expect me to be like, oh man, you tripping, man. No, I'm not. You just don't understand righteousness. You know what I mean? And people will get your personality and see one thing about a prophet. We always get offered the other side of things, like the streets, the hip hop, and all of that. See, that's the way a lot of black men was taken away from being a prophet, like DMX and Tupac. I specifically believe those two men were supposed to be prophets. Yep. Why I believe that is because the telltale sign is you still talking about God and you on the other side. You still talking about God and you making records. You in the streets. You in the streets with a K. You in the streets. How you got everybody dancing around? You making music about, you talking about God. Tupac would sit up and talk about God. DMX would have a prayer on every album, right? DMX would have a prayer. This is a dude deep in the, totally in the streets. How is that not a contrast to the street life? Let's keep it real. That's why some people don't do it. Because some people feel like, man, you know, like I've heard a Jamaican dude told me this. You either gonna be all the way righteous or all the way wicked. You know what I'm saying? Like, in other words, there's no such thing as a halfway crook, right? Like Mobb Deep would say. There's no such thing as a halfway crook, right? So why would somebody be way over there but talking about God? And that's why some people don't do it. They like, yo, I'm not living that life. I'm not living a spiritual life, even though I'm not against God, but look at how I'm living. I'm in the streets. I'm making this music. I'm out here in the streets. I'm out here in the world. I'm living the wild life. How am I gonna incorporate this and make it be real? How is this gonna be real? Because we have to admit it's not real if you don't live it. Okay, I can do and this is no disrespect. I can do a prayer. I can do this, but if I don't live it, it's not real. And see, that's how people become casualties. But this is, to me, that's a person's soul screaming out. That's the real person screaming out, bro. With DMX, that was the real person screaming out. The real soul of that person. Yo, help me, I'm a prophet. I'm over here doing a prayer, but I'm over here in the streets. But I'm doing a prayer. That was his real soul. I believe that, man. I believe that. Tupac the same way. Same way. Pay attention to him. And why is because it don't make sense for them to be talking about God, bro. I mean, you can incorporate it, right? And you can acknowledge as you acknowledge everything, okay? Just like you acknowledge the devil, you acknowledge God, you acknowledge the whole awareness of the whole world and the universe, right? I can get that. I can dig that, right? But when it comes to a prayer and things like that, that's a telltale sign that that person was a prophet. That's why he dealt with a lot of spiritual war. And that's how he died, man. He succumbed to spiritual war, bro. You know what I mean? And it was because of who he was. He was even going to church with Kanye West at one time, right? Look at that. It was more than just, he was talking about the Bible, reading the scriptures on a video. This was more than just a casual kiss to the sky kind of thing. Acknowledging God when you win an award kind of thing. Not that. This dude was opening up the Bible. DMX was opening up the Bible. That tells you, man, listen, man, think about what I'm saying at face value. How is you a street dude, which we know he was, right? by everybody's standard, right? By everybody's standard. Know what I mean? A thoroughbred for sure, right? How is he reading the Bible? You see what I'm saying? How? Because I believe he was a prophet, and he got sold the things, and he said it in so many words. He sold his soul, right? The devil knew who he was. Now imagine if he was a preacher with that voice. Listen to his voice. Imagine if he was a preacher. Everybody would love that man. Everybody would have loved him. Just his voice and everything, man. Just how he talking, man. Everybody would love to listen to his messages and everything. See, he was supposed to be, I believe he was supposed to be a preacher, man. I do believe that. He had the manhood, the masculinity that men go for. That, you know, he was a man's man by everybody's standard. He showed emotion. He wasn't afraid to cry. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't afraid to show any kind of emotion. Good example of manhood. And it was the enemy, man. I know that for sure. I know that for sure. You know, he was supposed to be a prophet, man. I hate to see it. I really do. And I can say that I prayed. I did a video to pray for him back in the day when I first came to YouTube back in 2006. I did a video to pray for DMX, the whole community. It had thousands of views. I wish I would have kept my page so people could see all I did, bro. But I live real. Once I wasn't living it at a certain point in place in time, I just pulled the whole page down. Now I wish I wouldn't have did that. Because it still could have just been a testament of who I was at that time. But being a young man, I didn't look at it like that. I looked at it like, if I'm not living it, I'm going to just pull the page down. But that's being real. So the reason why you don't see some videos, because once I backslid, I'm like, I'm not living it. I'm not going to have videos up like I'm a Christian. You see my logic? Like I'm living right, but I'm not. That's how you know if you see these videos up here, man. Listen, I might be struggling, but I'm living this, man. The best you're gonna see is me struggling. That's it. I'm living this. This is it. I came back. So you know, it's just understanding, man. It's understanding that a prophet has a rugged path. You know what I'm saying? See, I did what Pac and DMX didn't do, which was I gave my voice and my intellect wholeheartedly to God. The whole thing, not just rapping and then pray on the side, or talking about, you know, a prayer here and there in my songs, or talking about God here in my songs. God, only God can judge me, that kind of thing. You know, it's just sad, bro, because people could make a song like that and know that's like a wake-up call. Like, wake up. You just made this hot song. You just made this hot song talking about God, only God can judge me. Man, think about it. He probably sat back and listened to his own music. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes probably, you know, tipsy, probably drunk. You know, you going through stuff. You gonna listen to your own music. You know what I'm saying? I'm just thinking, man, what happened? But it's the spiritual war, man. It's the spiritual war that it's a tug of war over your soul. Tupac and DMX, man, they both died tragically, man, because they both were prophets. I do believe that, man. And not because of what they said, because of them talking about God, and they living over here. They way over there. You don't see nobody else doing that. If I'm over here, I'm over here. You know what I mean? I'm over here with these females. I'm over here. I mean, and he still did those things on top of that, and still was talking about God. DMX and Pac, the same thing. Out of all you're doing, how you take the time to make a song about God? Mind you, they got plenty of money. Some people couldn't even. That's why some dudes can't do nothing but party songs. They too deep in the party. The party always going on. Think about it. How you come out of that and sober up and then make a song about God? Like, and everybody over here partying, right? Glory to God. How you do that? How you do that? Because it's your nature. It's your design. It's how God made you. God made you to be the prophet. But the devil offered you a record deal. He offered you the limelight over there, and you're a messenger. You got a message. You got a voice. But how you end up over there? Because in these times, the spiritual warfare against the prophet is, I offer you stardom in America. I offer you stardom. You see how tricky the devil is? Oh, I see these prophets, so what I'm going to do? I know they're talented. I know they got charisma. They got flair, all of that. And plenty of mad talents. All of them. Rappers got all kind of talents. So what I'm going to do? I'm going to offer them this glitzy record deal. These opportunities. And and their prophetic gifts is going to be over here. Their whole flair is going to be over here. I'm going to use it over there. That's all the devil did with a lot of people. He used prophets over there on the other side. And that's why we believe in them so much, because they prophets. You see that part? Look how much people believe in particularly Tupac and DMX. To this day, people still believe in them. Like a prophet done died and you still believe in the person. They still believe in them. Ain't nobody resonate with the community like that but them. You know, you could say Kanye West is too. You could say he a prophet too, because of how outspoken he is, and that's the signs right there. That's the signs. You know, he doing stuff with God, all of that, making a church and everything, and people not taking it seriously. See, people don't take our spirituality seriously, because they see, if you're in America, they see a lot of the carnality, other things you're doing, but they're not paying attention to how you keep talking about God. You know what I'm saying? That's how you know you're a prophet. Because you can't get away from your design. You can't get away from it. Who you was born to be. And you can try. You can go run over there, and you still gonna be talking about God, because that's how He made you. He put it in you. You know what I mean? It's just that how I feel, and this is how I really feel. Guys like that, like Pac, X, Kanye, they can't be reached by a lot of weak American preachers. They can't be reached by them, because the anointing, the spirituality is not high enough. It's the spirituality. You gotta elevate it. Like I'm only the one. Excuse me. I'm one of the only ones that probably could reach people like that. Not because of street rules and regulations and all of that. Not that. That does help. But it's because of my elevation in spirituality. I'm just going to come up as the prophet. I'm just going to come up as this credible person. And that's going to appeal. See, Jesus didn't need theatrics and antics to be effective. All he had was the anointing. Everybody listened to Jesus. See, what people don't tell you properly, Jesus was not hated by people. He was not hated by the community. He was hated by religious people. He wasn't hated by the community. The community didn't hate Jesus. It was hundreds of people watching them, talking. They didn't hate Jesus. It was the religious people who thought they knew God better than Jesus. Jesus was everything, and it is everything. It was the religious people. And let me tell you, Jesus never plays out. Right now in 2026, Jesus Christ don't never play out. Hallelujah. Jesus don't never play out, man. You know what I mean? Jesus was among the people, and they loved him. It was the people like the Freemasons who think they know God. The 5%ers even. In my case, is to see who I got the problem with. Those who think they know God. It's the same thing. These people, these Freemasons, these secret society people, these spiritual people, they the same. It's them the people who hate you. Now, who love me? Who love me? The streets, right? Just like Jesus. That's just how Jesus was. Who got love for me? The streets. Jesus was not hated by the community. Jesus was hated by religious people. That's the truth. It wasn't even witchcraft people. Jesus didn't encounter witchcraft people that hated him. He did not encounter some evil people that hated him. Jesus didn't go through that. Jesus was hated by people who thought they knew God better than he did. In my case, it's going to be the Freemasons. They think they know all this knowledge. They think that these secret society people, all these other people, they think they know God. They think they know what real is and spirituality is and all of this, right? That's the problem for me, right? It's not the hood. It's not the streets. The streets see me and say, oh, he cool. See what I'm talking about? This is what the prophet has to deal with. People, it's not good. It's not the streets, because the streets gonna say, "Oh, we gravitate to that." It's just how it is. The spirit of Jesus is gonna be embraced. It's too much goodness. It's too much goodness. It's gonna be people. Listen to this part. That's trying to compete with you. Oh, they see. Listen. They basically was trying to compete with Jesus. They was. They were saying, they just was sitting back questioning him, because really they wanted to prove that they was higher ranking than him. Think about it. They were sitting back like they was the leaders and all of that. Like, who is this person? See, that's the part that we got to read between the lines on. They like, who is this person? You know what I'm saying? He ain't over here with us. Right. You got to read between the lines with the scriptures and realize how they were sitting back on him. See that sitting back spirit again? That's what I'm talking about. That sitting back spirit. Yeah, like you sitting back watching. Like you a committee over a person. That's how they were sitting back on Jesus. It's the same energy right now. Because when they see you got the spirit of Jesus, how the streets gonna be against you? No, they ain't gonna be against you. When you can explain your position and you can explain it intelligently, how they gonna be against you? They know why you mad. They know why you mad at the community, because of all the games they played with the community. So it's not a mystery to the good people in the streets. They halfway want to know God. They all do. What's the problem? Why they don't serve God? I'm gonna tell you why they don't serve God. Because a lot of people already tried to do it and they think they know what it is. You already tried to do it and you think you know what it is until you meet the prophet, and I can show you how to do it. You gotta come to God fasting. That's number one. You gotta detox yourself spiritually. You gotta clean out all the negative music. You gotta clean out all the stuff in your house. You gotta clean out everything. You gotta get rid of all of it. And most Christians, most Americans is not willing to do that. When I came to God, I got rid of everything I was doing. And if I struggle with something, I got rid of it. I didn't lay up with pornography magazines. I burned them. I burned them before. And it was the craziest thing. Don't you know I burned it in a room with gas gas in the room. Oh man. God been good to me. I burned my pornography magazines. I can say I done that. So how you can say somebody pervert in their life, they can tell you I burned pornography magazines secretly with my own struggles nobody knew about. I'm just being transparent, man. This struggle is real. This struggle is real. I burn magazines, burn them up, rip them up, and burn them up. And go back to serving God. That's the struggle. We got to be transparent about this struggle. See, that was back in the day when they got magazines. Now I wouldn't dare buy a magazine. And then you got a whole phone. See, that was before cell phones really took off. You had to go to these porn stores and get magazines and videotapes. I would destroy all of it, all over again. And when I went back to my ex-wife, don't you know she had one of the porn tapes I used to have from back in the day? This was last year. I was in, a relationship, a girlfriend, boyfriend relationship with her. We was casually together. And so at that time I had pornography and everything. Don't you know, I went back to her house, she still had one of my pornography tapes, and I was able to throw it away. I was so glad to do it. This whole time she had it. See, I think about the energy behind that. I think about the energy. So I was able to destroy that and destroy some porn, but she didn't want me to do it for herself. She still was holding on to it. She got mad because I destroyed her pornography. That's the woman I was living with. See, that couldn't work out for a prophet. See, she expected me to be the same person. She wanted me to smoke weed with her and everything. This is the woman I was with. That's why you might think she old. She an island woman. An island woman don't never get old. Ask all these island women, these Caribbean women. See, that's the past right there. See, you looked at that older woman I was with and thought, oh, this dude is a pervert. Let me help you understand something. Most lady men, a ladies man always got an older woman somewhere. You got at least one or a couple that's significantly older than you, and they wanted to try you out, and that's what it was. So for me, I met this woman 14 years ago. 14 years ago. When you saw her, that was 14 years later. Okay? At that time, I had pornography, everything like that. And she kept it this whole time. 14 years. Man, I tore that pornography up. I was so glad to do it. But when I tore up her CDs, she was angry. See, she wasn't at the same place in that I am now. I changed. And that's life. I used to chill, smoke weed, and me and her used to smoke weed a little bit. But I stopped smoking. And she wanted to smoke. When I came down there, she was like, I want some. I'm like, man, I don't smoke. She was like, you can smoke on the box, you can smoke on the porch, or you can smoke in the house. I don't smoke no more. And man, I was a constant smoker. I smoked cigarettes like the average person. Like a video like this, I would be smoking a cigarette talking. I would never have thought I could have made it without smoking, man. That's how bad it was. And I did. I stopped smoking. I ain't smoked in 2 years. And I'm just one of them old school cats now that will tell you can't tell they used to smoke like they did. That type of person. Like, they tell you these stories and it's like it don't connect. I'm like, I'm one of them dudes, man. I used to smoke cigarettes just like everybody else. I grew up smoking cigarettes. As a kid. I grew up smoking when I was a kid. And, I started back smoking. And it was hard. It was hard to stop. It was not easy. Because what it becomes is a companion. Cigarettes become a companion. Okay, it does. It become a type of companion where, okay, you smoke on your birthday, what you gonna do? You're gonna go get a fresh pack of cigarettes. That's what you're gonna do. If you was like me, you smoke 100s, you're going to get a pack of Newport 100s, right? For your birthday, right? That's the first thing you're going to do. 12 o'clock, you might do it 12 o'clock. Or before 12. You might get 2 packs because you're going to be drinking or smoking or whatever. I smoke when I eat. After I eat, I smoke, before I go to bed. I smoke when I get out the shower. And if I was drinking, I would smoke while I'm in the shower. You ever been one of them dudes? I got the music playing in the bathroom. You got the music playing in the bathroom. You get out the shower. You taking a long, crazy shower. Because you tipsy. You listening to the music. You come out the shower, smoke your cigarette, shower still going. I was one of them dudes. Taking a shower, come out the shower, smoke a cigarette, smoke half of it, put it out. Get back in the shower, just playing around in the water. Grown men, we do that. We get real saucy, guess what's going to happen? We're going to turn on the music in the bathroom, play all our little playlists or whatever, and we're going to be smoking cigarettes, standing in the mirror smoking cigarettes and drinking. You know, so I did all of that, man. That's what I'm saying, you know. But that's expected of a prophet. That's what a prophet going to do. I'm going to go through all the things that man goes through. I'm going to go through all of that. You know, that's why, you know, me these days, I am more careful not to be judgmental. I don't judge any man of God because the war is real. Now y'all see what's going on. Now imagine all them preachers back in the day that you was judging. The truth is, you know what the truth is? Their heart was in the right place, but they was ignorant of spiritual warfare. Think about it. These women in their path, you know, you trying to be a good person, but the devil done put a woman in your path and you ain't taught properly as a preacher how to see it. You know what I'm saying? Like me, I'm on guard. I know when the devil's sending women my way. It's obvious. It's evident. You can tell. It's an energy, you know? You can tell, even though that person might be innocent, it's a spirit behind them that put them in that place. That's how real this is. You know, so if you look at Martin Luther King Jr., that's a perfect example. How he cheated on his wife. That was spiritual warfare. It was. How are you going to be on top of the world, but you think about another woman? Because it's not even that he didn't have the morals to stick to his wife. The enemy, the darkness of the enemy. It reminds you, back in the day, you might think it's dark now, but the old school had their own type of darkness. They had a different type of darkness. Back then, mind you, racism is at an all-time high, right? It was a different type of darkness. Tricky, how it's tricky with America is they had an old school type of darkness that we can't capture now because of racism and all of that. And it's a new school type of darkness that has never been here in America. But it's a darkness back then that was out this world. Like where you couldn't walk in certain neighborhoods. That kind of demonic stuff. That's demonic. Can you imagine that? Walking around and you can't, you know, white people looking at you crazy just because you black. Can you imagine that, man? And in the middle of that, why you think he would cheat on his wife? Because it was spiritual warfare. That's what it was. See, I don't judge that to the full degree. Even though I can say I ain't never cheat on my wife. I ain't never cheat on somebody when I was in a relationship. Now, once the relationship is gone, the next day, you know, you can't say nothing about me having sex with somebody else. But if I'm currently with you and it's understood that me and you together, I'm not going to cheat on you. I definitely can say that. So some people would not respect Martin Luther King Jr. because he cheated on his wife. While many people will put them way up here on these pedestals, some people don't. But see, we wasn't educated on those people. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't educated. We didn't really know. A lot of people didn't know MLK cheated on his wife until recently. Now we got educated. See, this is why I believe in, now we know it's the end of the world, basically. Let's study all this information. Ain't nothing else to do anyway. Let's study all the stuff that happened. What happened? Where everything went wrong? MLK, I don't take nothing away from him fighting for black people the way he did. I don't take away from that. But you know, some men wouldn't respect you for cheating on your wife, especially during that time. That's supposed to be your ride or die. You know what I'm saying? She holding you down while you out there and she ain't doing nothing with nobody. Remind you, you don't think nobody trying to get at her? Of course. Oh, that's Martin Luther King Jr. wife. He on the road. That part. He on the road. She in the grocery store, you know, holding them down, looking good, and she looking better because she holding them down. She looking better because she holding them down. She looking good, like she ain't messing with nobody. Men attracted to that. She look like she ain't with nobody, but she is, because she holding them down. But she look like she ain't with nobody. So listen, she probably got her own stories. The devil, buddy. You don't think no men try to come and holler at her? Of course. I think so. You know, some dude might have tried to see, push up on her a little bit. Especially before her face really got out there. Before it was understood. Think about that. Before it was really understood, you don't think nobody tried to holler at her? When he was on the road all the time, and she got to go to the grocery store. Think about it. She was by herself at some times. I just believe in holding people down. I'm a strong believer in that. I think that's part of being real. I mean, some men might disagree. They say they real, but they cheat. But you take oaths. You know what I'm saying? If you take an oath to a woman, I look at it like the streets. That's why women like real dudes, because we look at being with a woman like an oath, I might not be perfect. You know what I'm saying? I might hurt you. But ultimately, I'm going to keep that oath. I can say I ain't have sex with somebody and I had opportunity to. Now, after the relationship, that's a different situation. But yeah, it's a lot of people that that just don't feel like that's real, based on a real person. Like, because I got an oath in my heart. You know what I'm saying? If you got an oath in your heart, how you gonna break that oath? And I know how a temptation is a mug. I done had a dude bring a girl to my house, to the door. So I'm in the world like everybody else, and I know what time it is. It's 4:00 in the morning. Why you bringing a female to my house? Come on, man. I'm not. I know what it is. But my girl was coming the next day, and the devil wanted to see if I would cheat on my woman right before she come, which is dirty. So like I'm gonna cheat on her and be thinking about somebody else. You feel me? Or now I'm thinking about somebody else and not really thinking about her. So I had opportunity where this dude brought a female to my door, but see, he may have not known, and the enemy just used whoever he could. He may have known. He may have did it on purpose. I don't know, but I'm smart enough to know he might have did it on purpose. But I didn't succumb to it because I esteemed that woman as my wife. So I didn't have sex with nobody until she left. And we really severed. Respect for each other. Respect was severed. Everything was severed. That's the only time when I went to somebody else. Because it's an oath in your heart. And if it's real, how you gonna break it? That's why women only date real dudes. Because that's the only one gonna hold you down. But it's different degrees of being real and how people perceive it. If you don't perceive it the same way, you ain't gonna be the best. The best is gonna say, I see it like the streets. I'm gonna hold this woman down. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be with her, and that's it. Because that's my oath in my heart. That's real to me. I made it real. I'm making it real. You know what I'm saying? That's real to me. I ain't gonna be over here with somebody else. But I told you. You see how it's like the streets? It's fake. I told you something else, but I'm over here. You feel me? It's like, so see, this is what happens to real dudes on my level. You know what wind up happening to you? If you do want multiple women, you just keep it 100 and throw it out there. See, that's what I did. I was actively having sex with more than one woman. Not at this time, but at another time in my life when I wanted to play the field, I just brought a woman to my level of way of thinking. Like I wanted to be with other women and she could be with other men. When you leave that door open like that, most women, if you treat them right, they're not going to feel like it's wrong. And that's how most men, it's not deception because I'm putting my cards on the table. So I just believe in being real and just telling you what I'm doing. See, that's the next level. And then you find a woman that's cool with that. You know what I'm saying? And mind you, the difference between me and other dudes might do that and don't want their woman to be with nobody else. She can't do the same thing. See, I had no problem. I was young. I was in my 20s. I ain't had no problem with a female being with somebody else. My ego wasn't even affected. I didn't care at all. That's how wild I was living after my divorce. See, that's because I went to another extreme after my divorce. I went from being married to just being out here in the field. You know what I'm saying? With multiple women. That's because I wanted to, because my heart was hiding from love. You know what I'm saying? See, I know that about myself. I was running from love. But I wanted affection. I wanted sex. But I was running from love. And that's the truth why I didn't even really dedicate myself to somebody. I didn't even think in terms of that because I had just came out of a relationship. But I still wanted the affections of a woman, you know. But I ain't want to be into one woman. See, it's a safeguard. It's how some men are protecting themselves. Really, that's what it is. They protecting themselves from falling in love because they've been hurt. They come out of a relationship. The last thing you want to do is dedicate yourself to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? You gotta trust again. It takes time for you to trust again and all that. Meanwhile, you still want the comforts of a woman. So, you know, I just kept it 100 with my woman, and I told her, look, because I ain't want to be in a relationship, but I wanted to be with a woman. Me and her was living together. I said, you can be with whoever you want to be with. See, I wanted the freedom. I wanted to feel that freedom too. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being transparent. So I let her do whatever she wanted to do. But she said, but most good women gonna say, I don't want to be with nobody but you. Now, real men know what I'm talking about. You done told her she can be with somebody else. Not because you don't like her, but you told her she can be with somebody else. What she say? What she say? I just want to be with you. That's it. That's the magic word. But I don't do it for that reason. You know what I'm saying? But I gave you the option. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I live my life. I'm just showing you if I wanted to be with more than one woman, I did. That's how I did it. If I wanted to be with other women, how I did it was I just kept it 100. And women respect that. And they go, that's how women gonna look at it. At least you telling me what I'm dealing with. Okay, so I'm not in the dark about things. I'm not believing something that's not true. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm in the energy of what's actually taking place. See, and that's all you gotta be like. And it worked. It worked. You know, I didn't have any problems. You know, no major fights, no jealousy, no, because I knew the art of treating the woman the same way. See, men get with other women, and you know how she know you cheating because you start mistreating her. She gonna know, okay, much as you love sex, why would you be mistreating me? And some men are just so stupid. Stupid. And the woman will tell you you're stupid. Because if you was cheating, why you gonna change? That's the worst thing you could do because the women know how much we love sex. They know we love it more than they do. Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure your woman knows that. If you're a real man, how many times you wanted to have sex and she really didn't? How many times? Okay then, so she know you you love sex like a little dog, won't like we like dog biscuits like that. She know that. She know how much you love sex. That's why she talking about come on in here if you want to have sex. Come on in here so I can go to bed. Come on, man, I deal with grown women. Come on in here. Come on in here. See, that's how it is. That's how it is, man. You know, and long as you don't change, you can do. You the same fun-loving person that you was when y'all first got together. A woman don't feel like she missing. You ain't making her miss nothing. She ain't missing nothing because you treat her the same way, or you could even treat her better. But it can't be like, oh, I'm treating her. See, women are tricky. It can't be, oh, you treat me better because I'm with somebody else. Because now she don't like that. Well, you treat me better because you happier because you got another woman. See what I'm saying? But you kind of are happier, right? But I mean, you know, in that case and living that lifestyle, if that's what you live, But you can't act extra happy like, hey ho, cause cause she gonna think, oh, she done made him happy. Look at this dude now. He dancing around and everything. You know how women are. She ain't gonna like that, buddy. So you can't go to one you can't go into one extreme or the other. You gotta be just as you was. And when I say just as you was, I mean just as you was, buddy. And see, it's an art to that. It don't mean you can't actually be happier, but you got to know how to do it. That's just how it is. And I'm not condoning that. I'm just being transparent and showing you how it is. You know what I'm saying? But these women, man, love is good. Love is real good. And loving the woman is good, but I can say I'm celebrating with all I know. I'm celebrating a year abstinent. This month is a year without sex. For 16 years, I ain't been this clean from a woman in 16 years. I'm doing good. See, that's why I got these personal milestones in my life that is that's more capturing my attention than just this other stuff that's going on out here. This is what's attaching. This is what's capturing my attention. That I haven't had sex with a woman in like a whole year. I ain't smoked weed. I ain't smoked cigarettes. I ain't drinking. I ain't drank in like 9 months, going on 10 months. Okay, so I'm doing very great, man. And that's why my spirituality is up. You know what I'm saying? My energy is potent, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not faking it. I'm not doing nothing behind closed doors. See, this is why many preachers are not effective, because behind closed doors, you know what I'm saying? You might be like MLK, you got a couple jump offs on the side. Because my thing is, he might have had sex with more than one woman. But see, that's not being 100, but then at the same time, I don't judge, because I know on those levels of spiritual warfare that he was dealing with, them devils was coming after him. Because I figure that probably wasn't the first time. Women probably was throwing themselves at him for more than one reason. But if I was a good, I'm not saying if I was a woman, but if you know this man is on top of the world, why you gonna mess up his house? Why you gonna mess up his credibility? You feel me? Why you gonna throw a monkey wrench in what he doing? Most women gonna say, I would love to be with you, but I ain't. Nah, you too special. See, that should have been a story. Nah, you too special. You know what I'm saying? You doing something, but in a different lifetime, me and you. Some women like that, me and you in a different lifetime, but me and you, but not in this lifetime. You got too much going on, boo. You got to go do some stuff. Me and you can't be together. Because I ain't going to mess up your credibility. I ain't going to have these white folks hounding you and behind you and start playing in your face. I'm going to use new terminology. Playing in your face. Nah. See, that's honorable women. But see, the enemy has his women too. Women that don't care. You Martin Luther King Jr., I don't see how a woman could have done it. No, I don't see how. I don't see how they could have done it, man. I don't see how. But that's how you know it's the enemy, man, because it's the satanic kingdom. Because most good black women, I don't know if it was white, black, well, that would explain it. If it was a white woman, who knows? Maybe it was a plant, maybe somebody sent the woman. I don't know. But ultimately, man, people consider that casualties. You know what I'm saying? You see, when you on that level, you can't have sex with other people. You can't be smoking cigarettes. This is just my testament in real spirituality. If you're on God's side, right? If you're not using witchcraft or whatever, and you claim to be on God's side, you can't be smoking, you know, and you know, and you don't have no intentions of stopping. You can't be like that. I don't know if MLK was smoking to the end of his life, but I do know that if you let the devil in, you already know where I'm going with this. And you on the top of the world, changing everything, he gonna take advantage of any cracks in the door. You got any crack in the door, he gonna bust through the door. And which means it ain't gonna manifest like lung cancer or STD from a woman. It's gonna manifest like we can kill him because he's slipping. You see what I'm saying? You can't be up at the top of the world slipping spiritually. That's food for thought. That's food for thought. That's food for thought, bro. You can't be slipping out here spiritually. And you trying to change things. See, this is why I'm effective. See, I make it look easy. You know why I don't got no problems? Because I'm living right. I'm really living right. I ain't out here, you know, having sex with these women. I ain't out here smoking Black and Miles on the low. You know, I ain't out here smoking a black on the low. I ain't out here smoking weed, you know, smoking a little spliff or a clip. I ain't doing none of that. I ain't eating no edibles where you can't smell it. Some people like that. These days you got edibles, all kind of stuff, where nobody might not ever smell weed, but you high all the time. You know, but I ain't doing none of that. And that's why I'm effective in my spiritual war. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the main reasons. You know, I love the Lord most definitely, wholeheartedly, all the way. To the death, all the way. You know, and that's how you gotta be. So you gotta be so rooted that you listen. You love Jesus to the death, bruh. That's 100. You gotta be 100 about this. You know what I'm saying? And some people ain't all the way in like that. You know what I'm saying? You got to be all the way in. And see, those vices that I'm talking about, that's what kept Pac and X out of being close to God. If it wasn't for that, they would have been with Christians. Obviously, look at them. Look at them, how they was. Look at how they was. They would have been Christians, man. But it was so much spiritual warfare. That's what it was. Martin Luther King Jr., this is how I personally feel. If he might have been fasting and seeking God, that kind of stuff might have wouldn't have happened. It might have wouldn't have happened, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know, when you smoking and you having sex with other women, and you know, and even though you might have confessed to your wife, but the devil, you didn't repent to Jesus. Now I don't know if he did or not. He might have did, because he acknowledged God, but I don't know. That I can't say. But we do know he was doing it, right? And let's just say in the scenario he didn't repent. Those sins are still on him. Even though you confess to your wife, you didn't confess. Let's say he didn't confess to God. Now you still got war. You didn't turn from it, right? But true repentance is to turn in the opposite direction, right? But the devil comes in when he sees you doing those things and you on top of the world. That's how he gets you. That's how he can kill you. He can kill you like that. All he got to do is bring in the spirit of death. He gonna say, I got legal right, because this person having sex, this person smoking, this person doing that, they doing this. I got legal right. But God may cover this person with mercy in some cases, but like not in all cases. Sometimes, you know, you came out here and you don't have God's protection. You can't do big stuff without God, man. See, that's how people need to head. You can't do big stuff without God. That's how people get assassinated. You wonder what happened to them, because they was doing big stuff without God. You know what I'm saying? And you look at X, look how he succumbed to the cocaine and stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? I hate that, bro. I really do, man. I really, really do, man. Cause that's like, that really do feel like a brother, like somebody that love God, man. You know, like if like that was his side. If he could just have gotten right, he would have been with God, man. But I feel like, man, the church just couldn't reach him. Like when I see somebody like that, I did a prayer for him on the video. I made a video and told people to pray for DMX back in 2006, right? Like 20 years ago. I was on YouTube 20 years ago. I asked people to pray. I had thousands of views on my video, everything. But it wasn't about that back then on YouTube. You know, and so I had people pray for him. So, you know, I can say that I try to intervene myself. Glory to God. Glory, all credit to God. I can say I try to intervene, man. You know what I'm saying? That was even before there was any struggles. It's just that he talked about God so much, I felt the need to pray for him so he can come on in and really be a servant of God. So you know, I just hate it, bro. I just hate it when it's like that, man. These souls that, you know, I know God, I know that probably was a prophet. Both of them, man. DMX and Pac, man. I know they both probably was prophets of God, man. And then just that happened, man. I hate it, bro. I still hate it. It's like that stuff that just leave a bad taste in your mouth. Like, man, I just wish I could reverse that and change that. I wish I could make that unlike that. I wish I could unsee this stuff or unlive it. It's like, man, Pac and DMX, that's like tragedy, man. I hate it, man. Every time I think about it. I even hate it with Biggie, too. I hated with Biggie what happened to him, man. And I hate it for him because he was just a kid from here in Brooklyn. And all he wanted to do was make his music. And he was an organic story about from a kid from the hood, everything like that. Just the classic hood story. And you know, and he got caught up with somebody else being paranoid. Tupac being paranoid. Tupac was paranoid, thinking that Biggie was against him, and it wasn't. Biggie was not like that. You know what I mean? That you could tell that wasn't his nature. He wasn't no grimy, greasy dude like that. You could tell. He wasn't no greasy dude like that. No. You could if you really was a Biggie fan, you could tell from listening to all his music and how he was, and you listen to the music, hearing words from his mouth, from his heart, and just studying, just watching how he carry himself. You know that person didn't set you up, man. You know, nah. That would be corny, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, for what? And that's why I hate it for him, man, because he just got dragged. If you really pay attention, Biggie probably is the worst tragedy in hip-hop, man. Because he was totally innocent. Like, nothing, bro. Nothing. Pac was going up and walking up and fighting people, beating up people. I mean, you know, that's how it is in the streets. Sometimes people retaliate, bro, and we know that, right? Same thing with DMX. You know, he did that to himself, unfortunately. You know, it's them type of people, man. You know, see, it's certain type of personas like DMX. DMX would have had nobody really try him. So the devil knew that. So how did the devil want to defeat DMX? Well, I'm gonna make him do it to himself, cause ain't nobody gonna try X. They gonna love him forever. You know what I'm saying? That's how the devil gonna sit back. Oh yeah, they gonna love him forever. Ain't nobody gonna try DMX. So I'm gonna make him destroy himself. See that part? See, when you that type of personality, and it's not cause people love you, man. People got love for you. When you're on that level, you gotta make sure you don't destroy yourself, because that's how the devil gonna come. Because ain't nobody really gonna have no beef with you. DMX, ain't nobody gonna have no beef with you. Now Pac is a different story, but DMX, who gonna really beef with him? For what? Unless it's personal or something, and you know, he was just too good on rules and regulations. That type of person ain't gonna have no problems in the streets. I mean, you know, besides the obvious things, you know, and then that's gonna be understood, you know. I can't see DMX having no real beef that where somebody got a real valid complaint about this guy. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. Look at his personality, man. You know, I can't really see nobody having a valid, especially once he became a rapper and he got out the streets. I can't really see somebody having a valid problem with this guy, where you really don't know what it means, you can't really understand it. But Pac is a different story, you know. But Biggie didn't cause that on himself, man, and that's what's heartbreaking. He was just like somebody from the hood that just pursuing their talent and finally got somewhere and bumped into Tupac, man. That's how it happened. That's just how, like the streets. Bumped into this old grimy, greasy dude. Right. And Pac was that person. That's why Tupac was really, I ain't gonna say deceptive, but man, he was kind of a greasy dude when you think about it. I mean, look at it for what it is, though. You see what I'm talking about? Like, think about it in terms of the streets. That was a kind of greasy dude, bro. Like, Biggie was really not like that, man. Biggie was like what we are like, the organic ghetto people, street people, you know, and some guys, you know, like Tupac became the poster boy for what not to do, what not to become, to not let this stuff go to your head. All this rap stuff, don't let it go to your head, man. And see, we don't want to acknowledge that because, you know, everybody love Pac, but they don't really want to talk about the part where, you know, he's a poster boy for what not to do in rap. Biggie is not. Pac is. Biggie just was who he was, man, and he stood his ground and was, and you know, people felt like he shouldn't have went to the West Coast. But then again, you ain't gonna stop nobody from letting you live. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand the logic on that. You gonna still live your life. I get it, man. But that's the worst. I think that's the worst tragedy in hip hop, man. If you really think about it, it's awful, man. It's awful. Cause this guy really didn't have to die. It wasn't nothing he really did that was worthy of death. Nothing. Pac just kept going on and on and on. That's what it was. But what was he doing? Biggie wasn't doing nothing. Pac kept going on and on and on, and this dude wasn't even doing nothing, man. See, that I'm gonna be honest. That's why, man, I feel like weed, marijuana is not for everybody. And I feel like it plays a role. Yes, it does. With these beefs and these rap beefs and stuff, this ego, people sitting around smoking weed. Tupac already told you he get paranoid from weed, man. Like, when I got older, I stopped getting paranoid. But when I was a kid, I got paranoid. But when I got older, I stopped getting paranoid, because I didn't care about dying. You become a man, you start fearing death. But when you kind of young and you ain't done nothing in life, you know, you kind of fear death. But you get a little older, you smoke weed, and if you feel any thoughts, you know, them thoughts that come, like somebody gonna kick in your door or something like that, you don't really care because you ain't scared to die. You done got old, you don't care. That's what happened to most of us. But Pac kind of showed signs of being scared to die, you know, and that led to paranoia about different things. And the more you smoke weed, you're gonna be sitting around obsessing over that. You're gonna be sitting around obsessing over it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what happened. He was sitting around smoking weed all the time. And some people live in a weed world. You know what I mean? They never sober up. Their whole world is weed. Like, they wake up, they high. They live in a weed world, you know, and I think he was paranoid in that weed world. You feel me? Like with Biggie and all of that, man. And that's why I feel like Biggie won as far as the art of war, because he never mentioned Tupac's name. He never mentioned his name. He never gave in to the beef, and he maintained his manhood. He stood his ground like he's supposed to. And he confronted Tupac too, and asked him, "What's all this about?" And that was Tupac's moment of lameness. Oh, I'm just trying to sell records. That's the worst thing a street person could say in that case, bro. And that's facts. Biggie said it himself. Like, I went and talked to Pac. Can you imagine? He went and tried to talk to Pac and everything, you know, and you know, you still ain't working it out. That's crazy, man. That's why, like, nah. Biggie, to me, is the worst tragedy, man. You know, Pac was a great soul. I expressed that. I feel like he was supposed to be a prophet. I do feel that way. I think he might have been bipolar, maybe, because he went to different extremes. You never really seen him cool and calm. You never seen Tupac really talk like I'm talking like this. He never really talked like, he went to one extreme or the other. He was very happy or very angry. Like, he never was kind of like in the middle. Like Biggie. Biggie kind of sat back and kind of, yeah, you know. Pac would, see what I'm saying? Pac's energy was like bipolar. And that's okay if he was, but I think he was. Now that I get older and I understand mental diagnoses, you know, and I'm not the one to diagnose somebody, but I do feel that it never was, he never hit middle like most people do. You know what I'm saying? And just be kind of cool, you know, and not really to one extreme or the other, you know. So, you know, but anyway, I do still feel he should have been a prophet of God. I do feel that way, Tupac. And Biggie, I wouldn't say that. I don't think so. You know, I think Biggie acknowledged God like everybody else, but he kept it 100. He said he didn't want to go to heaven with the goody goodies. He wanted to be with those, and I'm paraphrasing, those who rock Timbs and black hoodies, right? He kind of kept it, like I said, on the dark side, like most people gonna do if they live in that life. But he still referenced to God, but you can kind of see where his heart was. He kept it 100. Like, he just wasn't living the godly life, so it don't make sense to try to act like that's what it was. You know what I mean? But I think that Pac was a prophet. That was the difference. He couldn't stop talking about God, and he to the end of his life, man. You know, even his last album, he was on the cross, for crying out loud. You know, see what I mean? See what I'm talking about? The whole time, this how this guy was, you know. But man, it's just like every man gotta fight his own spiritual battle. This stuff is real, bro. All you can do is kind of reach out to people, man. But everybody gotta fight their own spiritual battle, man. You know, this thing is real. Like soldiers, like souls journeying to heaven or hell. You know what I'm saying? That's what we all doing. And now we closer than ever. With this war in Iran and these things going on, you know, it's just real. It's real stuff going on. And my spiritual warfare is real too. See, people think that I just got to deal with witchcraft and these secret society people. I got to deal with the satanic kingdom. So I got attacks, psychological attacks from the satanic kingdom too. That's facts. All kind of bizarre stuff. And if you go to the doctor, they're going to tell you you're crazy. They're going to just put you on some medicine. You know, but you know that you ain't crazy. You know you're going through spiritual warfare. That's what it is. See, I'm a strong believer that some people get misdiagnosed, especially black people, because they don't understand black energy. They don't understand black people and intellect and mindset. So I think some people get misdiagnosed. They come out here and they let white folks tell them from their perspective what it is, and then really, I don't know, man. It's a tricky situation, man, because I think about ancient times when you had different tribes of people, and they might have did stuff that seemed strange. They might have acted strange, but that was their energy. It wasn't that. It was a certain mental sickness diagnosis. I think that they don't understand us. They don't understand black people. They don't understand tribal, indigenous people. Specifically, indigenous people, I think, are misunderstood. Their energy, you know what I'm saying? Me, I'm very indigenous. I know that. And that's what people sleep on, you know what I'm saying, about me. I'm a very indigenous person. So I move the way an indigenous person gonna move, especially when it's wartime. I'm gonna be primal. I'm gonna be like a lion. I'm gonna be like a tiger. I'm gonna be a primal animal. I'm gonna be on my P's and Q's and watch everything around me. You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep my brain on the swivel. I'm gonna keep my brain on the swivel. I'm gonna keep my brain on the swivel, bro. So I feel that people should have showed more respect. People should have showed more respect to me, because I think that I was somebody that was supposed to come just like in life, how they say that a Jesus Christ type of person has come more than one time. I'm not saying I'm Jesus, but I'm giving a perfect example of like how people reappear through history, where they're like a Jesus type of person or figure, or these type of people appear more than one time in our humanity. So what I think is me being a prophet that got this fate that I have, where I had to fight America. I think these certain people was like a glimpse of who I was. Like Pac, I think he was a glimpse of who I was to come. Not because of like his whole nature with females and everything like that. It's the boldness of my spirit and talking about God. It's just too coincidental. It's just too coincidental. So I think certain people come and they are an omen of the person to come. You see what I mean? I think Pac was like an omen of for me, for who I was. And he didn't try to do it on purpose, because I know, But it's just like he was a person because of who I am as a prophet. Remind you, I'm a prophet. So you don't think somebody gonna come to kind of shine as an omen of the person to come after that? I think so. You know what I mean? I think so, man. And because when you're a high ranking, there's omens to your coming. There's omens to your coming. God knew, this is how you need to hear it. God knew all this was going to happen. God knew everything. This don't surprise God at all. He knew I would play my position like this and be just like this and like halfway like Pac over here going into spiritual warfare. He knew everything I would do. He knew I would go to California. He knew everything I would do, man. And the truth is, I wasn't a big Pac fan. I was more of a Biggie fan, actually. But that's what make it more real. I'm not trying to be that person. That's what make it more real. My story is, I never bought a Tupac album in my life. Ever. But I did buy a Biggie album. I ain't never bought a Tupac album. I thought he was a good rapper, but I wasn't really interested in his it wasn't interesting to me. It wasn't colorful to me enough until I get around with Shock G And that's when I started liking Pac after Shock G and when they got together on I Get Around. That's when I started liking Tupac. But other than that, all the other stuff, I heard it, like, cause it was on the radio all the time, but it still didn't catch me. And I was a kid that bought albums. I went to the store and bought albums, but I never really. His voice to me wasn't colorful enough at that time. But then when he started going through pain and different stuff, he had more pain in his voice. Oh, I'm right? He had more pain, more struggle, more things he was dealing with. And that's when everybody, I think, started liking Tupac, man. You know, but up until that, back it was strictly for my niggas and all of that, and Tupac just sounded like another good rapper to me. A decent, good rapper, 90s rapper, but Biggie came out with a husky voice, and it was original, this husky voice and everything, like, honestly, I thought Biggie was Puerto Rican. Can't you see why I thought that? I love it when you call me Big Papa. He sound like a Puerto Rican dude. I can remember riding around in my stepdad's car. That's when I first heard it. You know how you know when you was at when you first heard something? You can point, you can remember the place and time. So I remember the place and time when I really first heard that. I love it when you call me Big Papa for the first time. I thought he was this Spanish cat. You know what I'm saying? How he talked, because I guess the accent from New York, that part, I thought he was like Spanish. He sounds Spanish to me. You see how I could have thought that? But yeah, that's a funny story. Yeah, seriously, I thought about that as a kid. Like, I didn't think he sounded like, because I'm from the South, he didn't really sound like, I wasn't used to New York accent. So I love it when you call me, see how that sound? To a Southern dude. I love it when you call me Big Pop, but that sounds like a Spanish dude to me. I was like, as a kid, I remember thinking that. That's crazy, right? I remember something like that. But yeah. But then I went and bought the album. I was into Biggie, like, a lot. Just listening to him. So that's the funny story, even though, Tupac might have been an omen for me to come. I was really a Biggie fan. So that's the crazy story. Another reason why I would say that is because on the Tupac album, the last album, the 7 Day Theory, right? Tupac was on the album. It said Don Kill Illuminati. The first three letters of my name is D-O-N. Don. Don Kill Illuminati. And look at the war that happened. Now you put it all together. See what I'm saying? Everybody always see the similarities. And you see what I mean? I'm at war with these people that call themselves Illuminati. And Pac is saying Donnell, kill Illuminati. That's the punchline what makes him a prophet, right? Boom. He telling me to the future. Oh, Pac already know. Tupac already knew this was gonna happen. Hey, don't that sound like a Tupac fan? Pac already knew this was gonna happen. And he's saying, Don, kill Illuminati. Donnell, kill him. Now you tell me they ain't powerful. What Pac is basically telling us to kill these people. And apply it to yourself. Don, kill Illuminati. What's the odds, man? What's the odds? What's the odds that he just said that and all this stuff happening in the future? Look at that for what it is. What's the odds, man? And then my name is Don. Don kill Illuminati, right? And then look where I'm at. See, I understand my position, man. See, listen, you can't make that up. Don kill Illuminati. He named Don kill. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a Christian. And then that's the punchline. And it's a cross. So it could have been Don Kill Illuminati without a cross. No, hold up. It could have been Don Kill Illuminati and he wasn't on the cross like Jesus. That's another sign. He could have just said Don Kill Illuminati 7-day theory and they ain't had no cross on Jesus pertaining to Christianity or nothing. So then it shows you the spirituality that's behind my life. Christianity. Don Kill Illuminati. Jesus Christ, a symbol of what we know to be a symbol for Christianity. And I'm a Christian and everybody know that. And that's how they looking at how we kill these people. When you are this high ranking, it's no way I wouldn't have someone point to me. And I ain't trying to do it. I mean, that's kind of funny, right? I mean, it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny, man. But I don't too much make it gospel. You feel me? Like, no pun intended, and no disrespect when I say gospel. I don't try to make that set in stone. It's just something to think about. And it's just other things I've seen, that points to my life as a prophet. Because if you high ranking, it should be stuff that point to you, like a forerunner, right? Somebody that's before you, and they speak, they kind of are a glimpse of the person to come. They reflect who the person is that's gonna come next. So but here's the bad part with all. I listen. I gotta tell you what I feel. The bad part is that it went terribly wrong with these people out here playing with me and everything. It went absolutely wrong. Now, my brother knew somewhat who I was, but this is what he didn't know. He did not know I was a prophet. He didn't know that. He had no way of knowing that because I never said it to him. He didn't know. He didn't know that. And so, but he did know I was very spiritual. He did know that. He knew I was very spiritual, and it was jealousy. It was jealousy in more than one way. More than one way. Something that you might not think about, and I know him because that's my brother, right? Okay, New York. He was jealous of me because I came to New York. He wanted to come to New York, but he didn't have the backbone to come up here. Because he told me he wanted to come up here, and he asked me, did I want to come up here with him? So when we was hanging out, he was like, yeah, I'm thinking about going to New York. You want to come with me? I had already, well, he didn't know. He might think I stole his idea. But I live with women from New York. It just made sense. And when I went back and I looked at my Facebook, I had already thought about coming to New York. Already. I posted it. Maybe I need to go to New York. I had already lived with women from New York. They lived in the Bronx. Everything. Before I even came to New York, right? I lived with women from the Bronx. More than one. Right? 2 women from the Bronx. Right? So, if you're a musician, you ain't going to have a bright idea that maybe you might need to go to New York for your music. And you live with 2 women from the Bronx, you ain't going to have, mind you, I've already traveled and went to California. You don't think I'm going to think about maybe I should go to New York? Of course, man. I done traveled to, by that time, when I lived with 2 women from the Bronx, or that lived, one was born in the Bronx, one lived in the Bronx, or went to school in the Bronx. I think she lived there, yeah, for some time. But one was born and raised in the South Bronx, right? So, I had already lived in California and Florida. You think I'm going to live with these New York women talking about New York? You don't think I'm going to get a bright idea after I lived in 2 different states to go to New York? And I got music going on. I got, I do music. Think about it. And I already got the heart to go to LA, Los Angeles. So how Why wouldn't I have the heart to go to New York? I went to Los Angeles first. That's my real history. I went to LA first. So you gonna probably have the heart enough to go to New York. And I did. You know what I'm saying? He didn't. He didn't have the heart to do these things. And so he began to envy me because he ain't have nowhere else to go that would make him original. I know how he think. Once I went to New York and LA, he felt like he ain't had nowhere to go. But if it was me, I would have, see, he didn't know how New York is built. I would have still came up here on my own and did my own thing. I ain't gonna, he was one of them type of people, if you do it first, I ain't gonna do it. You ever met one of them people? It's like a hang up. If you do it, I ain't gonna do it. Like, I didn't stop you from coming to New York. You could have still came here. He didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? He look at things as in context of a competition and things like that. I don't even think like that. So that was another reason he was envious of me, because I had came to New York. I know that for sure. Because I look at the whole way he was talking about coming to New York, and then I'm the one that did it, right? Put two and two together. Your wife is attracted to me. I came to New York. You jealous. You burning with jealousy because every day I'm in New York and experiencing New York where you wanted to come to, because I went to LA first, so he gonna opposite me and think to go to New York. But when I went to New York, okay, what you gonna do now? And see, that's how he thought. Like, as if I might have been thinking like that. What you gonna do now? I didn't think like that. I never thought that. You know, but I now know how he think, and that's what it was. And so, you know, y'all got played for more than one reason. It was jealousy for more than one reason. It was that too. It was the fact that I came to New York, and it was that. You know what I'm saying? I know him well enough to know that. You ain't gonna know that unless that was your brother. Okay, so it's enough way I know how he think to know that's what it was. Okay? Okay, so that's what started this whole competition type of thing. See what I'm saying? That's what added the backbone to that. Because now not what you talking about, like you feel like I abused you or something. Not that. No. What put the battery in your back was I came to New York. That's what made you feel like that part. That's what made you feel like you wanted to compete with me. So then you put this elaborate strategy together because you wanted to compete with me, because I went to New York and LA. I've been to both. So he ain't had nowhere to go. That's what I'm saying. I know that for sure. I know it got something to do with a woman and New York. Me coming here. That's what it was. That's what it was, man. You know what I'm saying? And you can look at other things. You can think about other things. Other things could have happened. It doesn't matter. I know what it was about. It was about those two things right there. And I didn't put the right emphasis on the New York part. But I talked about that too, though. That's what it was. You know your brother, man. You know how he think, man. Okay? So I know how he think. This was about a woman and New York. That's for sure. He ain't come to New York. He wanted to. But now you ain't got nowhere else to go that's just as big as New York and LA. Where you gonna go? You could go to Chicago. You could do that. You could go to Chicago. You know, but it ain't gonna be kind of comparable to New York and LA. I mean, you know, on the how I put this, on the limelight type of tip, you know, on the show business type of tip. On the show business type of tip, it ain't, with all the additives of show business, you ain't gonna get that total full glamour or shimmer on Chicago that it is on New York and LA. Not totally. You know, but even, like I said, if I haven't lived there, I've been through there. I've been through Chicago. I can say I've been through Chicago. I got a picture while I was in Chicago. I took pictures when I was in Chicago. I can prove it. You know, but see, I even been through Chicago. So I just started traveling. You know what I'm saying? And see, he might not even know that I went to Chicago. But the reason why I went through Chicago, because I was traveling cross country. I didn't live there. But people show me love when I pass through, just from the layover at the Greyhound, right? So I know about that Greyhound. Then you got the bridge on the side on the left, all the way down. You got that little bridge pass over. I don't forget nothing. I got maps in my head. You come out the Greyhound, you make a right, and then you turn another right, and you look down that whole block, and it's a bridge pass over. A dude wanted me, a local in Chicago, he wanted me to go walk with him. That's how dudes befriend me. He was like, yo, come walk with me, man. Just straight up cool dude. I'm like, nah, I can't go because my bus might come. And sure enough, man, my bus left I think 20 minutes later. If I would have left and been chilling, man, I would have missed my bus in Chicago. And a lady bought me a hamburger and fries when I was there. She brought me a whole meal. I ain't have nothing. I asked the people at the Greyhound for something to eat. This black woman in Chicago, and she had a kid too. She bought me a hamburger and fries, a whole meal. Yeah, so I got love when I was in Chicago, and how I feel is, if you eat in Chicago, if you eat in the land, you are part of the land, because you eat from the same farms. We eat from different farms. How you part of the people is when you eat the same meat. You eat the same meat, you part of the people. You eat the same food, you part of the people. You eat from the same soil, you eat from the same animals. Think about it. That's how you part of the people. I've been through New Orleans, I've been through Las Vegas, I've been through Phoenix, I've been through Seattle. I lived in Seattle. Tampa, I seen Miami. I've been at the Miami airport. On the backside of the Miami airport with the train that go to Fort Lauderdale. So you know how you could take a train from Fort Lauderdale to Miami. You know what I'm saying? So I did that. So Dallas, Texas, Houston. I've been to Houston. At the Greyhound in Houston, you got the smoke spot in the cage. So I've been to Houston, you know what I'm saying? The last time I went there, I walked around to the block, walked around to the corner store in Houston. So I've been there too. And it ain't no major city really I ain't been through. St. Louis, Memphis, of course Atlanta. You know, I was going to Atlanta as a kid. What else? Mississippi, Alabama, Kansas City. Where else? DC. I've been through DC a million times. You know, catching a Chinese bus, you're gonna see DC. Baltimore. I think Baltimore, yeah. North Dakota, South Dakota. Wyoming, I've been through all that too. Denver. First time I went to Denver, we broke down. The Greyhound broke down. We broke down in the snow in Denver. Yeah. So I've been, whatever city you can think about. Detroit, I've been to Detroit. I got family in Detroit. So, you know. And I should have thought about Detroit, because I got family up there. Yeah, I got family in Motown. That was my first major city I went to, was Detroit, right? I went to Detroit first before anywhere else. Before I went to LA, before I went to New York, before I went even to Florida, you know, I went to Detroit. Yep. I got family up there, so I can say I've been to Detroit too. So, you know, see, my brother wasn't doing none of that, man. You know, that's just what I'm saying. So we two different animals, you know what I mean? And that's why my whole point for bringing him up is this is why all of this started. This is why all of this started, from jealousy, envy, all of that stuff. And, you know, I'm just a young dude that was out here doing what I gotta do to make it. Having the heart to go out here. You know, having the heart to go from city to city. See, I made it look easy to where people thought I was a hobo or a drifter. A drifter is really the word. They think you're a drifter, you know, when you travel as much as I do. But really, I was just a young dude trying to get in where I fit in. Whatever city I could get in and come up and just try to get this music going. That's what I was trying to do. But just like somebody who is inexperienced, you ain't gonna make all the right decisions. You're gonna lose your way. You're gonna do things your way. You gonna do things without proper counsel. You ain't gonna do things right. You're gonna make mistakes. And I just started living life after traveling for X amount of time. I didn't give up on my dreams. I just started living life. I just started focusing on trying to survive to the forefront of anything else, you know. So it's kind of how it happened. Then I changed my life. I mean, now it don't make sense to make music to me. It's a lost cause. I don't see no reason. I don't see no reason to make music. You know, that's me personally. You know, my heart is not in it. You know what I'm saying? And if your heart is not in it, then I love music. I will always love music. You know, I give me a little keyboard. I make beats all day. I just make beats for to the coming of Armageddon. And that's one thing I would like to do. I just make beats. Beats ain't sin. You know, that's not sinful. I can make beats, but as far as like lyrics and things like that, my heart just not in it. I got some songs I got on my phone right now. Where I went to the studio 20 years ago. I got songs on my phone right now that people will like, that I made. You know, I've been in the studio, made songs people will like, but I don't even post those things. I could. I don't even post it, man. I mean, my heart's just not in it. It's not because I'm discouraged. It's not because what it is my message is different. The message of my heart is different. So I can't see a way to really look to entertain people in this country. I don't look to entertain nobody in this country like that. You see what I mean? That's not the vibe. Where we all together and I'm entertaining you, and it's not enough people on my side for me to feel that way. You know, does that make sense? It's not enough people with me to feel like that. I can see some people with me, but not enough for me to feel like I want to do music to entertain people and put music out for Americans. You know, no. I don't have a message for them. I don't have no part. And then I'm a prophet. I don't have no party message. So then what? I ain't gonna be talking about booty shaking and none, you know, the streets. I ain't gonna be talking about that. So then what I'm gonna be doing? I could do spiritual music, and I've done that before, but now this is me. I don't feel, and this is me. Don't get offended, but I feel like I outgrew Christian rap. I outgrew it. When I was young, I was still rapping and everything. You see what I'm saying? Cause you a young dude. I'm still rapping while I'm still running around rapping, got funk, you know what I'm saying, as far as rapping. You know what I'm saying? And you don't lose the funk in your soul, but you know that I got that Papa funk, you know, where, you know, it comes out in messages. Like I talk to people about life and things. Now you see what I'm saying? I talk rules and regulations. That's my funk now. You know, but as far as when I was a young dude, okay, I'm rapping and running around going to the studio. That's the vibe I was when I was young. And it makes sense. Now that I'm older, I don't feel the need to that's not my vibe. You know what I'm saying? It's just not. You know what I'm saying? I outgrew it kind of physically and spiritually. Now I would feel like I'm dumbing down to make a Christian rap song. Because if it's too deep, it's not going to make sense. So if it sound like my level of intellect now, I mean, you can do it. I can do it, but I just don't feel that's where I'm at in my soul, man. You know, I just don't feel that way. I can make beats. I like making beats. That's why I left off anyway. I started falling in love with being a producer. Really, that's what people don't know about me. I love making beats. I still got beats on my Facebook that can kind of show you what I do. You know, but yeah, you know, I don't it's not that I can't do it. I get rap lines all the time. That's the funny thing about it. I get lines in my head all the time. like some lines are irresistible. Like I'll come up, like I'll get a real MC know what I'm talking about. Like I'll think about something, a certain word or whatever, and I get a line, I get a punchline or something. I always do it. I do it all the time. That's how you know you got the talent. I got, you know, and my mind I always make up punchlines all the time, but just to be like, what direction would I go at as a prophet? Some people say it's perfect because of all you've done. Now you can rap, but yeah, it's more than one way of looking at it. But I just still feel like, man, you know what? Some things got to be cleared out. It got to be like, for me right now, and that's another thing, and this is really the biggest crushed part of the whole situation. I feel like people owe me an apology, and they owe me an explanation. You know what I'm saying? And if I don't get that, I don't feel like entertaining no Americans. I'm just being honest with you. Where you sit around and drink, you know what I'm saying, listen to me, or, you know, not necessarily drink, but I don't feel I don't feel the need to do it. I don't feel like I want to do it. Yeah, it's a lot of things. I have to have my respect before I feel like I would want to be here entertaining people. You know, but as you can see, I'm getting my respect in different ways. That's just, I applied all my talent and who I am to spiritual warfare. That's what I did. So I just wind up still making my contribution to society. You know, to some people I'm gonna be a hero, and some people I'm gonna be a villain. You know, it's depending on who you're talking to. You know, some people, they see me as a villain, some people see me as a hero. I'm a little bit of both, because I know how to be a villain when I need to be, when the hero part ain't working. Sometimes being a hero don't work with certain type of community, man. Like these people right here, I'm gonna be a villain. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still a good person. But a villain is basically gonna suppress any feelings with the attacks. I'm gonna attack and not have any feelings, not have any compassion, and keep attacking, and that's what's gonna look like a villain. Okay, but what I supposed to do? Play a hero? Dun, dun, dun. I'm here to save the day. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not. And everybody know why I'm not. So see, I'm one of your first justified villains. I'm one of your first justified villains. Everybody see why I'm a villain. Everybody see why I'm a villain, man. You know, you listen to my brother. You know, he wanted to be famous. You know, these other people want to be famous. That's all it was, too. It promoted him. All this stuff promoted him. Now they're going to be talking about his brother. I don't have no problem with that, because I ain't thinking in terms of that. I don't think like that. I wouldn't care if that was the case. But that's why he did it. He did it for that reason, too. He's smart. But you could be the smartest person, but you still can be foolish. You could be smart and foolish, you know, and that's where you get the punchlines. You know, if you're smart and foolish, you're gonna make bad decisions. And that's the same thing with these secret societies. You know, they could be smart, but they foolish. You know, they're gonna make bad decisions. Playing with me, you could be smart as they come, but playing with me is gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a problem. Like, I'm already leaving New York, and it's not. I want to make sure people understand. It's not because I'm afraid of something. That's the first thing people will think when you leave New York. The first thing they gonna think, Not considering 2026 New York, where it ain't even that hard like that. I mean, you know, you gotta live here to know. It's not even that hard like that. Let's keep it real. You know what I'm saying? Respectfully, I say it's not that hard like that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, but people will assume that that's what it is. You know, you leaving for the, it's not that, bro. It's respect. I gotta have it. I gotta have my respect. I cannot be kicked around and played with, and we caused World War III. I'm expecting people to get in line, fall in line. But I ain't gonna tell you to bow down. I expect you to do it yourself. And not in a condescending way. You know, I expect you to acknowledge things for what it is. That's most of the community. If you don't do that, I'm moving on. I mean, when you gonna be so angry about it, you do all of this and people still playing with you. You ain't gonna up and leave. I would, yes. That's what's prompting it. That it's not the person that they put next to me in that room. It's not that. It's the fact that you could do it knowing I'm winning like I'm winning. Like what that's gonna do. What at best what that's gonna do. So once I see, man, you know, this organization right here putting people next door to me that's just bugged out, throwing stuff on the floor, glass on the floor. You know what I'm saying? But and you trying your best to stay relevant, you know, by doing this stuff, just corny stuff, right? Can you imagine that after we done called, that's the World War III had already basically, all this stuff happened in Iran. It's already happening. I mean, that in itself is a big deal by itself. Let's keep that in proper perspective. Let's note that, right? And imagine somebody, after all this stuff is going on, put somebody next door to you as if to say that's your competition. After all I've done. Include the fasting, include the giving. So it's me throwing my hands up like, man, I cannot let people think that person is on my level, man. I can't let people think that. That's called self-respect, man. You do all of this, and I'm not bragging, and I say this humbly. I fasted in this building, this same building I'm in right now, 73 days. 73 days, 2 months of fasting. And then somebody can just walk next door and act like they competing with you. And people find that's a situation after all I've done. Then I'm walking away. Yeah, I'm not letting people think, that beat them right there. After all I've done, that beat me, and we done changed the whole community. You see what I'm saying? All that fasting, everything I've done, people can acknowledge that like it's something. And not only can they acknowledge it after it happens, they can think that's going to compete with me. Then I know, listen, I know no matter what we do, think about this, no matter what we do, if we change the world where Iran is in a war with America, it don't matter. That tells you, and they still can play with you, that tell you it don't matter what you do. They ain't gonna ever feel like you greater than them. And fall back and sit down and have a seat. That's what we expect. See, war is not about annihilation. War is not about annihilation. War is not about no annihilation. War is about realizing when you can't win. You realize when you can't win. You don't keep going and going and going and going. No military does that. No military is going to fight until everybody dead. Why don't y'all tell these people that? Ain't nobody gonna fight till everybody dead. Who's gonna fight that long? So war is not about annihilation. War is about, I put enough warfare on you. You lost enough to bend to my will. You lost enough to bend to my will. Who you think lost enough to bend to who should bend to each other's will in this situation? They should bend to my will, which means that's how you know who won without them telling you. Who should bend to each other's will? I should bend to their will. They're not doing anything. We done changed the whole community. It's us. Everything's changed. They should bend to my will. And guess what? My will is easy to take. Listen. At this point, all I wanted was my money, right? At this point, they probably ain't gonna get the money, right? All this stuff going on. So I'm not stupid gonna sit here and keep talking about money, right? That's why I stopped. Really, man? I mean, you should die for what you done. I'm just being 100. I don't see no other punishment besides either money or death. What can make it right when you just still are here? I got famous. I got known. So what? I can't make no money off of it. I could, thinking like a hustler, but I shouldn't have to. I feel like there should be an upfront reward besides me having to get some promotion out the mud. You feel me? Yeah. And then remind you, I'm a prophet, so how much, what direction is that going to go in? Back to what I'm feeling and what I want to do. I don't really want to do music. So what will I do with this promotion? Build a church? I'm just saying, for real. Build a church off of it, but then again, that's kind of the wrong energy, right? So I don't think people just can't get away with doing this, man. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. I don't feel no differently. That's how you know it's not hate. It's just even when I calm down, I still feel like you deserve it. If anybody deserves punishment, it's you. And it's so bad, it don't matter if I'm right or wrong. You did so much, no one cares if I was wrong. Because you should have stopped long time ago. You should have stopped long time ago. You should have stopped long time ago. And, I don't have anything to do with it. See, I'm like Biggie. Like, I don't have nothing to do with that. People talking loud, talking all this stuff, I don't got nothing to do with it. I'm just maintaining myself, standing up like I should as a man, going wherever I need to go to survive, and that's that. Look at my demeanor, how I'm carrying myself. I'm supposed to speak up for myself. I'm supposed to speak rules and regulations. Like a man, I'm supposed to do that. Biggie still did that, but it's how you do it. It's class. It's having class. It's the difference between having class and not having class. I still supposed to speak rules and regulations. You know what I'm saying? But look at the position, how clean I am in my position. I'm winning, and mind you, I'm winning these wars. I'm winning wars to where nobody shouldn't even be trying me right now. That's what I'm saying. And I didn't have to go out here yapping and talking and everything like they did, and everything going out to the community, and I still got my job done. So it's like, who you respect? That's not comparable to me, man. Now you see what I'm saying. And with that being said, how would you feel if they put somebody next door to you, like, here's another challenge? After all you've done, that's like, I'm gonna tell you what it's like. It's like playing basketball with people that never admit that you win, and you win every time. You gonna want to play basketball with somebody like that? Even if it's 21. I'm black. We grew up playing 21, right? So you win 21 and they still feel like, well, man, I feel like I really won. Huh? Bro, I got the 20 and shot the shot behind the line. How I ain't win? How I ain't win, bro? You ain't gonna want to play with them, right? And they go, you gonna say, hold up, I won, right? Okay, so then, bro, how can you act like you're doing something? You play basketball with people and they say, we feel like we really won. How do you feel like you really won? That's the same way I feel. How could you feel like you still can play with me? Look at all that's been done. How can you still feel like that unless, because we talking about competency, right? Sports is competency. That's all you prove. You don't kill the person. You prove that you're more competent than the person. I prove that I'm more competent than these people. Right or wrong? Okay, so then what are we doing? It's annihilation. Then we go all the way to war, and that's what happened. If I beat you in sport, proving to be more competent than you, and you keep going, I'm looking at it like you're trying to kill me. So then what you think I'm gonna do? I beat you in sport. I showed to be more competent than you. So you keep going. So what that tells us? We ain't stupid. We Americans too. Okay, so then what that tells us if you keep going? That you trying to kill me? Okay then, so then what you think I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go to war and shut it all down. That's what I'm supposed to do. I ain't supposed to sit here confused. Well, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what they're doing and thinking about. I do. I think you're going to keep going to the end. As long as you, see, I'm American. You realize that. You think you're going to keep going to the end, and then guess what? We're going to shut that on down, buddy, since that's your mentality. Since it's your mentality, after you've been beaten and you're incompetent by everybody's standard compared to me, and you keep going, we're going to shut it down. Ain't that American logic to you? If you was in my shoes. If you in my shoes and they keep playing in your face, you beat them, everybody know you more competent. They know you're real. You know what you're doing. You can't say I don't know what I'm doing. It's a fluke. You can't say I'm just doing stuff. I know what I'm doing and I'm doing it, right? Okay, so then if they don't see it like I'm more competent than them and they keep going, what you gonna label that as? Somebody trying to kill you. You focus on annihilation, then what you think I'm gonna do? I'm gonna focus on the same thing, bro. That's all it is to it. And that's that, bro. That's all. We all seen what it is. We all seen I was more competent. Keep in mind, I'm one person. Keep in mind, I'm one person. Let's not forget this. I'm one person. I beat all these people, and you don't see them as more. You don't see them as incompetent to me. That's it, bro. That's all there is to it. It's nothing hard to figure out. And so then from this point, I expect, and this is what I expect, all these people out here in their face, listen, I expect you to say something to them. You've been in their face this far, you at least owe me that. Well, you took their money as the community. You came out here helping them. Well, I feel like you at least owe me to tell them to sit down somewhere. You need to have a powwow with these people. You need to have a good powwow with them and let them know, man, listen, bro, ain't none of us can come out here and play in the field like that and play with the whole community and nobody don't sit us down. Nobody, not even me. I'm not doing that. I'm defending myself. I'm supposed to do this. And you would do the same thing. You ain't gonna just lay down because these dudes talking about whatever they talking about. So what you gonna do? If you would do the same thing if you was me? Yeah, of course. If you could work spirituality and with God, if you live that, you wouldn't use it to defeat these crazy people that we don't even like because they in witchcraft anyway. We don't got no love for that. Most black people ain't got no love for it. So you telling me you wouldn't do something, you wouldn't use your spirituality to defeat these people, and then the other Americans helped them too? They helped them? We know they helped. America helped. Okay, so then I ain't gonna consider nobody here. I ain't gonna consider nobody. See, the truth is, man, y'all can't label me the little dude I used to be. Right, before what you know, you might have went back in time. You can't label me that same dude. I done been around too much. I done been around everything you could talk about. You talking about killers? I've been around killers. I already done been around them. Okay, so then, you know, you can't label me the same little dude you heard about. Right. With that high school history, I'm way past high school, buddy. See, some people get better. So you can't play me with the 50 Cent line, dang, homie. In high school, you used to be the man, homie. You can't play me with that line because I'm better after high school. I went to LA. I came to New York. I'm better after high school. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, and that's the sign of somebody that grew up, you know, and they're competent. I became better. I mean, you can't even compare me to who I used to be as a kid when I was a teenager. You know what I'm saying? You can't even. But some people try to do it, including my brother, because the truth is we didn't really know each other after our teenage years. That's why he got a reference to all of that. Man, I done changed so much being married, a married man. I mean, that alone. I done been through a whole marriage, and my brother wasn't there because me and him wasn't in the same state. So, you know, I grew as a man in another state. So all he could tell you about is times where I came home, but see, if you don't pay attention, we wasn't really connecting like that. And then, you know, I had my wife on my mind, and I had a kid. My son is 19. So, you know, me and my brother really ain't never been connected through because I was living my own life outside of North Carolina. We wasn't, so all he can tell you is about my teenage years. I done been a married man and everything. So, you know, I would, if you listening to that, man, I don't know, man. I take points off. If you listening to somebody talking about when they was a kid and this man is a grown man, he done lived a whole nother life. I kind of take points off of that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because that person done lived and been married, done had a kid. You know, it's corny to be talking about something back there. That's corny to me. You know what I'm saying? You know. So, you know, I done been through real situations. Married, divorced my wife. I divorced her. You know what I'm saying? That's real life. I don't care about whatever you talk about before that. I don't care. You know, that's just what it is, bro. You know what I'm saying? So you see now, for you gotta accept that you got played. That's what, and see, you don't want to accept that narrative, and that's not my problem. It's not my problem for you. It's not my issue for me to make you accept the narrative. That's the truth. That you came out here for a woman, right? And I know that for sure. I don't care about other information. I know what it's about, and you ain't accepting the narrative. So see, you don't want to go in the right direction, turn around, and go in the real right direction of what really this is all about. You don't want to do it. Listen, I can't help you, and God ain't gonna let you play with me, and that's for facts. No matter what I've done, see, I could have kicked it to you like this. I could have kicked it to you like, you know what? No matter what I've done, ain't nothing you can do about it. I could have been 100 and nasty. I could have been nasty about this. I could have told you, I could have gave you my butt to kiss and told you that everything I've done is forgiven by God, and it is. It is forgiven. God is real, and He's forgiven me. I could have gave you my butt to kiss, bro. And no disrespect to God when I'm saying that in the same sentence. Listen, bro, I could have been a nasty person about this. I could have been technical, which is God has forgiven me. And that's what most Christians would have told me. You don't need to explain nothing to them. Most counselors would have told you, and that's how you know I'm smart, right? I could have said, yo, anything I did is under the blood of Jesus. And that's facts. I didn't have to explain nothing to you. If you want to challenge me after that, you would have got what you got right now. You would have got devoured. You would have got warfare. You would have got devoured by beasts. More than one. And I wouldn't have to explain nothing to you. I wouldn't have died. I wouldn't have had to explain nothing. I would have sat back and let you play with me and not even said nothing. But it's not my personality. My pet peeve is to let people believe something that ain't true. You know what I'm saying? Walking around thinking something that ain't right, that ain't true. Nah, that's not my personality. I know what it's all about. It's about a woman. That's what it's about. And it's my personality to show you that. It's my personality to show you what it's all about, buddy. It's all about a woman. Okay, how it's not when it was a rumor in my family that my brother told people I slept with his wife. You telling me a real black man ain't worried about that? How egotistical, I'm just being real, how egotistical black men are for they woman. You telling me they ain't what it was? Then you don't know a black man, do you? You know how possessive and territorial men are over their women in the black community. So imagine that he felt I slept with his wife. You telling me that's not what this is all about? That's what it is. My whole family thinking I slept with his wife. You telling me that ain't what it is? My family coming back and telling me. My cousin coming back and telling me. Not to save face, she just volunteering this information. I'm like, okay, huh? I slept with his wife. And you telling me this is not his motives? Of course it is, man. Any fool know that. See, you don't want to go, listen, any real man know that's what it is. If you've been making love to this woman X amount of time, your feelings going to be up in this woman, right? You find out your worst nightmare is that she's attracted to your brother, and I confirm that. She was attracted to me. That's your worst nightmare. You already know, you ain't thinking that you can't bring your woman around your brother, but at the same time, you kind of got this healthy jealousy over your woman, right? Every man got that. You're supposed to. That's normal. So your worst nightmare is going to be, oh, my wife is attracted to my brother. It's bad. It's bad. That's bad. I don't know what I would do. But I do know what I would do. You know what I would do? I would divorce her. Listen, see, he didn't have the heart to divorce her just for that. It ain't that we slept together, but she was attracted to me, right? See how it's tricky? He didn't have a heart to divorce her because she was attracted to me. But see, me, I'm a different animal. Listen, bro, if you attracted to my brother, I'm glad it happened because that weeded you out. That weeded you out, so I ain't have to go years and years and years later when you was attracted to somebody else. Thank you. Thank you. You helped me. You helped me, buddy. That's what I would tell you. Yeah, you helped me, buddy. We ain't going no further. No. I'm telling you, like OJ on the song, I saw you and him. Yeah, I seen you and him. Walking in the rain. Walking in the rain. See, that's the vibe of my brother, man. And now he's not the same. Tremaine is not the same. I saw you and him. And him. And him. Hey, man, look, man. Listen. That's his problem. Okay? That's his problem. That's where his heart is broken. He made love to that woman probably like, you know how it is. Like she the best thing since sliced bread. Right? Then you find out, I'm putting perspective that he married to her. So you gonna be all making love, eating good, doing all this fun stuff, and they had a house too. That's what makes it so bad. So you know they had fun, right? Let's just keep it real. Any real man know, okay, you with your woman at your house. You got a house, not an apartment. Y'all was to y'all self. Of course you had fun. Then you find out she was attracted to your brother. That's heartbreaking. I agree. And that's hard. For any real man, listen, that's hard. But you don't make it hard for me because she's attracted to me now. That's where you failed. You know, that's where we don't have no compassion. Because listen, this is what he did not want to accept. That was her flaws. That was her flaws right there. Bottom line, it didn't have nothing to do with me. And if you are not in the real world, people say they real, but you don't keep it real. Okay, so that's reality. Ain't nothing you can do. What is done is done. If she was attracted to me in front of you, and you seen it, and I seen it, and I know it's true, and you know it's true, you assume more happened. That's what happened. Because she was attracted to me, you assume the worst, like me and her were together and all of that. No. But you assumed all of that because it was mind blowing that this woman was attracted to me. So you felt like we probably had something going on. Nah, God knows that's not true. God knows it's not true. But see, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about, man. So that's why I had to go through all of this, man. And that's the real truth. And I don't care about nothing else that's been done to him. I'm talking about that. And you would be too. Especially if he went and told the rest of the family that I slept with his wife. You ain't gonna be talking about that? Oh, you gonna be talking about whatever else he talking about. But you ain't gonna be talking about him going to the family. That's bad too. Where my family thinking I slept with his wife, with my brother's wife. And they don't really know if it happened or not. They don't really know. Think about it. You don't really know. That puts doubt into people's mind. Like, my family don't, well, we don't really know. You see what I'm saying? You try to give that person the benefit of the doubt, but do you really know what happened? See, and then you gonna wonder what stories, what scenarios was it for him to think that? Like I was up under his wife or something. And I wasn't. I wasn't even over there with his wife. But if somebody tell you this, you gonna think, oh, they was up under each other or something. You gonna think that, right? We wasn't. We wasn't even around each other. I wasn't even in the same room with that woman for more than 15 minutes. For more than 15 minutes, me and her was never in our whole lives in the same room for more than 15 minutes together, bro. That's crazy. That's just a paranoid, jealous person, man. You know, some men can't have no woman. But like I said, even for me, I'm a heavyweight when it comes to these women. And that's a crazy blow. For your wife to be attracted to your brother, that's awful. That's awful. That's real bad. Because that's going to be hard for you to see your brother in a different light. But that's what takes a man. It takes a man for you to see him in a different light when you know he ain't had nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get you another woman and you're going to live happily ever after. See, but this is why I put boundaries up with my woman and my family. See, now you learn. If you go back and look at my life, he go back and look at my life, I don't let nobody be around my woman. And you can think I'm jealous or you can think whatever you want. Because that's how it starts right there. All that hanging out and all of that. See what I'm saying? That's how it started. I separate my woman from my family. That's right. That's right, because I know how men are. They flirt with your woman right in your face. Some dudes will flirt with your woman right in your face, bro. They'll be looking at your woman's legs right between while you sitting right there. I done had it happen. My woman sitting on the couch and a family member looking between my woman's legs. That part. Looking between my woman's leg. By the time I got me another woman after that, I ain't even bring her around the family, and that's why. See, I learned to see the signs. I ain't stupid. You know what I'm saying? If you looking between my woman's legs, not my brother, somebody else in the family. See, I ain't trip about it. You see what I'm saying? See, that's the difference. That's the difference. They ain't got nothing to do with me. That shows you who you are. You a bum. You know what I'm saying? You sitting there looking between her legs. Like a child, like a kid. I expect a kid to be doing something like that. And we at Thanksgiving. This is Thanksgiving. After that Thanksgiving, that was 2009 Thanksgiving, right? After that, the next year, I ain't even bring my women around the family. See, I already knew what it was. I pay attention, bruh. I don't bring my women around no family. No. These nasty dudes will have sex with your woman. You ain't figured that out by now? So then, see, you see how I move. I don't bring my woman. When my brother had a housewarming, he wanted to come wanted me to see his house. I let my woman stay in the car. He insisted that she come in. But now you see what I was doing. I separate my woman from you. Yeah, I don't have my woman around no man. Because I know how men are, especially arrogant men. You'll try to get her attention. You know how dudes are come on, we know how black dudes are. You halfway flirting with his woman, styling, grandstanding. But low key, you trying to do it to impress her though, right? Right. You know what I'm saying? Come on, let's keep it real. But see, but the difference is I don't respond to it. I don't respond to none of that. But I know. So guess what I do? Guess what I do? I know how men think. I keep my woman separate from my family. That's how you do it. That's how you got to do it these days. Times have changed. You don't bring your woman unless you know for sure. And even then, bro, like I still kind of, I don't know, man. You know, you got to play it by ear. That's the best way to say it. Cause as far as who you bring around your woman, cause these dudes will flirt and look at your woman up and down, and then you can't even go to the bathroom without thinking about what they talk about when you go in there. That's what I'm saying. You don't know how you know how dudes are. They get at you like, you know what I'm saying. They might get at your woman while you in the bathroom. You gotta go to the bathroom. When you go to the bathroom, you don't know how he looking at her. You see what I'm saying? Nah, see, I'm just sharp on my game, bro. That's all. You know, so that's why I don't bring my woman around no man. See, I don't make no mistakes like that. Guess what? That same day, now I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show my brother something. That same day, your woman was attracted to me. Where was my woman? Oh, you knew I had one because I drove her car over there. Where was she at? On the 4th of July, when you would think I would have brought her over there. Where was she at? Where was my woman at? At home. And you could think it's cold, but look what happened when you brought your woman around. And that's your wife. You can say what you want. But listen, the bottom line is, man, listen, hey, what can I say, man? You see how I move? I drove my woman's car over there. I'm not stunting. I'm not flexing. But I drove her car over there. And she stayed at home willingly during the holidays. And I'm not letting her come around my family. And see what happened when you brought your woman around the family? You see what she did? And that's what I'm talking about, buddy. See, that's the difference. That day tell you the difference between how me and you move. I ain't bringing my woman over there, but I brought her car. I'm not flexing. But I had it like that. When I know that's my family, listen, I'm going over here. I think she might have went with her family for a little bit. She might have did. I don't remember really. I think she might have did. But I must keep that separate. And she let me get the car, and I rolled over there and enjoyed the family until that happened. Until his wife was attracted to me on the 4th of July, 2010. That's when it happened. But where was my woman? Not there, buddy. Not there. Because, and why you think I had it? Why you think I did that? I could have been a dope and brought her over there. You think I was gonna do that? No. Why you think my woman wasn't there? Cause why? Cause I couldn't. We couldn't figure it out. Cause we couldn't figure it out. Because I intentionally separate. I should have been said this. I intentionally separate my woman from the family. That's how you gotta move, man. As a black man, know what I'm talking about. And see, I don't have the same problems as you, little buddy. You gotta live with the fact that you did that for a woman while you telling other people other stuff. We know what it really is. You know what it really is, buddy? That day, July 4th, 2010, your woman moaned and lust towards me in front of everybody, and even my mom heard it. My mom heard it and everything like a fart. Like, brown. Everybody heard it. And I was the one telling jokes and everything, so it had to be pertaining to me. That's the only thing that made sense. And everybody seen it, and that's what humiliated him, is he knew everybody knew. Like, ooh, wow, you can't make that up. That was tea. You talking about tea? That was a picture. Hey, I'm from the South. We got a picture of tea. That was a picture of tea, bruh. That was a picture of tea. It was a whole picture right there. With the lemons in the tea and everything. It was the lemons in the tea. Plenty ice in there. Plenty ice in there. Hey, she had about 3 lemons in that tea, didn't she? She had about 3 lemons in that tea. Bro. She had about 3 lemons in there, didn't she? Hey, man, listen, man. Listen. That's why. Now you see why. You don't know, no respect how I move. See, because you was trying to get my wife to come out the car and come see your house, and I showed you more than one time that I separate my woman from the family, and you should have realized that. That's the difference. You brought your woman around the family like it's all good. This black people, and she black herself. So if it's not us, it's gonna be her. And it was her. I listen. That's what's her. I ain't have nothing to do with that. But you made everybody suffer, man, and that's what's unforgivable. What's unforgivable is you made everybody suffer, and you a man. You should have dismissed that. You should have dismissed that woman. You should have dismissed her. You should have dismissed her, bro. You ain't got no manhood tearing up the world because a woman is attracted to your brother? No. It's unforgivable, man. It's unforgivable because, like, it's bro code. It break bro codes, not brother codes, men codes. Like, oh no, ain't no man I know gonna respect you. If your woman is attracted to your brother, this is what a man gonna tell you, and you get mad and go out here to the whole community against your brother because of her. She was attracted. He ain't show no signs of nothing. He was totally normal. He ain't even think nothing about her, right? You ain't never seen him look at her up and down or undress her with his eyes. You ain't never seen nothing like that. Not even that. And you give him the problem, and you don't give her the problem, and then you have a baby with her after she did that. Oh, that's the T right there. How you gonna bring a baby in the world after she did that night? You should have dismissed her after she did that. You don't gonna have no baby with her after she did it. I would have left. I would have left her. I'm sorry. I would have had to. I couldn't live with that. No. I see why you was mad. But I would have still had self-respect about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have dignity. You gotta have your dignity, buddy. You a Houston, right? When you listen to I'm pretty sure you listen to Whitney Houston. Then when you listen to Whitney Houston, what she say? No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity. You took away your own dignity. That part. Buddy, you took away your own dignity. You took away your own dignity. You let a woman drag you out here like that, and got you all out here like a woman that's crying, like a woman crying for somebody to be with them. That's how I look at it. Man, this was all about a woman, bro, and I know that for sure. I'm absolutely positive about that. And you had a baby with her after that. That's the punchline. Me, as soon as she did that, yo, I'm sorry. We gonna have a good talk when we get home, buddy. Oh yeah, well, I seen that you was attracted to my brother. That's facts. Okay, well, don't try to deny it. I seen it. That's what I'm trying. That's what I'm gonna say. No. That's what it was. And I bet he went through that. And then he was smoking weed after that. He was miserable. I see what happened. You can't even smoke no more. You don't even want to smoke no more. You don't even want to smoke no more, do you? I wouldn't want to smoke for a long time after that. Man, ooh, that's a bad energy and vibe. You know that happened too? It leave a bad taste in your mouth. I know that. I can see what happened. But you didn't handle it like a man. You know what you should have did? You should have dismissed that girl. Tell you like Juice Man. You should have dismissed her. Yeah. I ain't gonna do a Rambo. No, I thought about doing a Rambo, running up on you doing a Rambo. Nah, I just dismiss you. You are dismissed, yeah. All your clothes, yeah. Pack up all your stuff and get all your bags. Yeah, call your mama, let her know you coming home. You are dismissed. That's what you should have did. You should have did you should have did a Juice Man, OJ. Hey, he should have did an OJ, huh? That part. He should have did an OJ. You are dismissed. You cold busted. See, you ain't see. Listen, see. That's how you know me and you come from two different schools, buddy. I'm from the old school, buddy. Ain't no way in the world I'm losing my dignity for no female. You said, listen, buddy, if you want somebody else, the best to both of you. That's what I would have told her when I got home. The best to both of y'all. And you gonna get drunk and say the best to both of y'all. You gonna get drunk and say the best of both of y'all. Y'all wanna be y'all. You know how people start talking reckless. Y'all wanna be together, the best of both of y'all. And you listen, you played yourself, bro. Now you get older, you realize it, don't you? It's worse with every year. If you're a real man, if you're a real man and you know you did that for a woman, that's gonna be the worst pain. That part, the worst pain ain't even what she did. The lust she had for me. The most pain is how you handled it, and not even what you did to me. What you it's the fact that you didn't make her pay for it. And then you had a kid with her after that. Oh nah, that's a sucker right there. Ain't no way I'm putting no kids in you after that. What did you try to do? Was prove something to me? See, a person is like that, right? A sucker, right? Oh, you gonna have a kid by her to prove that that's your woman. That's supposed to be your woman. You married to her. You ain't got that to prove to me. That's the only logic I can make. If you know your brother, if you felt that your brother was slept with her, why would you have kids with her? Why would you have a kid by her, bro? Now you can't tell me. Listen, man. Listen, bro. One thing I cannot do is make you a grown man. You know, it's just when the time comes to be a man. Listen, some people ain't ready, and ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? When it's time to be a man, some people ain't ready. And then what? The time is gone. It's gone. You can't do nothing about it. I can't make you a man, bro. You came out here playing with people. You came out here and played with people. And you played and had us all thinking that this was about something else. And what it was about, bro, what it was about was a woman. And now everybody know and everybody see it that way. And all they can do is play psychological games. All America can do, because you know you was with them, you all are suckers, man. That's it. And you can't be real. Man, listen. Go talk to street people and they can show you where people lose their whole credibility overnight. Obviously, you're rusty in the streets. Some people can start out real good, doing 211s, everything, pulling capers. Doing 211s out here, going on licks on 211, however you want to put it, going on licks and everything. Then guess what? Happened? They fall off, right? They say something and fold. See, a young dude don't realize the fold gonna come. It's just how you gonna fold. Hey, all real criminals know what I'm talking about. The fold gonna come because you ain't got no experience. You're going to make decisions. You're going to make, as a criminal, you're going to make bad decisions when you're young, right? It's just how bad you fold. You're going to fold. When you did some things, that was a little questionable, but you kind of got away with it. You kind of can survive. Your credibility can survive, right? But some people don't fold too good. See, you didn't fold too good, bro. You put your cousin in prison for 12 years. That's where you lost right there, buddy. You once you lost that woman and you did what you did to me, then you went and put your cousin in prison, and you knew he was a thief. He stole crack cocaine from me. Back in the day, he stole crack. What did I do? I made him straighten his face when he came out of prison for doing 12 years. After he did 12 years, I told you what? I relayed the message through you. I relayed the message through you. Yo, he need to straighten his face about stealing crack from me. Yeah, he stole crack from me, right? Okay, so I told you what? And then you relayed the message. Oh, like he was like, yeah, you know, try to laugh it off, basically. That's how you told me, right? Okay, so, bro, you already knew he was a thief, man. He stole crack from your brother. Okay, so if he stole crack from me, Real crack cocaine that I cut up and you seen me cut it up. He stole crack cocaine from me that you seen me cut up on the plate. I know you remember that, right? So you seen me cutting up crack on the plate where I cut up my own 20s, right? So you seen me do that. And you seen him steal all that crack that I cut up. Then you gonna charge that to the game when he steal from you. You ain't gonna lose your whole credibility when he done stole from your brother and then he stole from you. You already knew. You already knew my mom, the family questioned whether he broke in our house and stole something from my mom's jewelry. You knew that too. You had 2 other accounts where we questioned, well, I knew for sure he stole from me. But the family thought he broke in our house too, and you knew that. There was 2 other accounts where he was questionable with stealing from people. He definitely stole crack from me. He definitely did. He was the only one knew where it was at. That's how I know. He the only one knew where I stashed it. Right? You knew that. And then you gonna go throw away your credibility. But for what? You charge it to the game. You wash your hands from that person. He already stole crack from you. We thought he stole jewelry from my mother. And you don't think he gonna steal from you, and he stole from your brother. And he know I'm crazy. He said I'm crazy. The same person that shot somebody and crippled him, he said I was crazy. Oh, he know listen. And he stole from me, didn't he? He stole from me. How he ain't gonna steal from you and you more laid back? That part, buddy. Oh, you can play a role, but you know, me and him did crimes together. Me and you never really did crime. Me and him did crimes together, bruh. Listen, he know in my lane, if I got in my lane, who I would be. I just chose to change my life, right? It's that type of situation. And y'all kept going or whatever, And I kind of, even when I went back and backslid, I still stayed over there in my lane and I ain't really do no crimes. I kind of played the lover boy position, you know what I mean, with my females and everything like that. And I ain't sell no drugs. I just smoked weed and chilled, after I became a Christian. When I backslid, then I ain't go back into the street selling drugs or nothing like that. So I kind of stayed out the way. You know what I'm saying? I stayed out the way. You should have knew dealing with him. He done stole crack from your brother. You already should have knew. Nah, I ain't gonna handle it like that. I ain't gonna trip. Nah. You know what I'm gonna do? Now he done stole from me and my brother. I'm gonna wash my hands. That's what I'm gonna do. I ain't gonna go down with him and mess up my reputation. And now you gotta live with the fact that you put somebody in prison for 12 years, bruh. I ain't never done that in my life. Ugh. And I told you to your face what it was. You steal from you know how the streets feel about it. He told me to my face. My brother told me he put him in prison. He snitched on him. He told me that. So once you did all of that, man, you messed up your whole life for a female. You went crazy. She the one that made you go crazy, bro. So stop playing, man. Like, think about it. It don't even add up. Okay, why you divorce your woman? Why you made her kicked her out your house? Why you make her leave? What happened? I know what happened. She was attracted to me. That's what happened. Y'all lasted 2 more years and that was it. Not barely. Not even a 2-year mark. It wasn't even a 2-year mark that y'all lasted after that. So, me, man, I don't know. That's life, man. Like, cause me, I had so many girlfriends growing up that by the time I got a wife, I'll dump a girl, I dismiss a female. I dismiss them. That's what I'll do. So by the time I got married, I took nothing off a woman. I left her every time. He seen that too. I left my woman. Oh yeah. And then when she didn't want to have nothing, we had 2 apartments together, I divorced her. And guess what? This is just extra information. This is the kind of dude I was. Me and her had sex after that. After the divorce. You know what I mean? I got a girlfriend paying for my whole trip to go see my son for his birthday. and I'm down there in the room, and me and her having sex. And my girl already told me, oh, you're going to have sex with your wife. That's the kind of life I live, bro. I lived the kind of life where my girlfriend knew I was going to have sex with my ex-wife, and I did. But I didn't set out to do it. You know, she took off her pants, got in the bed. Okay. And that's how it happened. So, you know, I mean, and I moved on, and I had a woman taking care of me better than she ever did. Gave me $1,000, over $1,000 at one time. She never put no money in my hand like that. That's all I'm saying. You know, so I upgraded. You know, but you know, so I live like a normal, real black man. I'm not gonna sell my dignity to no woman. If she wanna be with somebody else, see, I done told the woman to her face, you wanna be with somebody else? Oh, go ahead. Just don't come back. Just don't come back here. If you wanna go have sex with somebody, just don't come back. That's my only request. That's I don't get crazy if a woman wanna go be with somebody else. I don't get crazy. If she want to go listen, that's life. You can't, that's a human being. I don't lose my mind. Okay, I let it resonate. You know, guess what, buddy? I can still talk to you after you do certain things. Things I went through, you couldn't even go through. You couldn't even go through. A woman showing me a picture of another man's penis after she got mad at me. Texting another man's penis to my face. You ever been through that? I've been through a woman texting me that I'm supposed to be married to. I'm supposed to be married to this woman. She texts me a picture of another man's penis. You couldn't make it, bro. You couldn't make it out here, bro. These people, these women, boy, you just don't know. And you lucky. You could have went through way more than you went through. You could have went through way more. And look how you fell apart. Man, I done had women text me a picture of another man's penis, man, right in my face. And this supposed to be the woman you with. Cooking for her, cleaning for her, everything. And y'all fell apart, and she texts you a picture of another man's penis. That's why I'm not with the woman I was with in that other apartment. After that, that's probably why I don't pursue her. Nah, that's probably why. She probably wondering why, but that's why. You can't put no doubt in a man's mind like that. Where even though you might have found it off the internet, you showing a picture of another man's penis, and then it's around the same size as mine. That too. You looking at that too, and you thinking about that. His penis about the same size. Listen. I'm just being transparent, man. All the stuff I've been through. That's what a woman I'm supposed to be married to. Where you got your heart all up in that woman. I was right there. And then she sent me a picture of another man's penis. You wouldn't have made it, bro. That's what I'm saying. You would have wanted revenge. You would have wanted to brutally hurt this person or something. You know what? You would have wanted to torture her. Nothing for me. It's what it is, man. That's life. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I'm just me. I'm just by myself in this world. You know what I'm saying? I gotta look at it like that, and that's a human being that's able to do wrong and able to do hurt me and imperfect. And I look at it like that. I separate myself from it. I don't attach that self to that person to me like they perfect like I am, and they gonna do everything right and everything. No, they're human. They can do a lot of damage. And now women can do a lot of damage to you, buddy. They might not physically hit you, but look, they can do so much damage to you, it's not even funny. Look at your situation. See, the difference is, listen, I ain't gonna say, oh, I want to hurt you or something because you sent me a picture of another dude's penis or something. I ain't do no threats, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? And that person regretted that and everything like that, and everything. That person still texts me from time to time, and see, because ultimately I ain't do you wrong. It don't matter what information people said or what happened, you still put it in the right context that it was in. And how you know? Because that person still can be texting you and comment. See, my woman still texting me. that I was with, that same woman, listen, I'm not texting her. I'm not emailing her. She emailing me. And I ain't giving her the number. That's why she mad. I ain't give you my number. And then I don't know if me and you gonna make it, and me and you gonna, no. Then you might be trying to text me all the time, and nah. See, I lost interest probably because she showed me another man's penis. After that, I really don't have that drive towards her to try to make nothing work out. But see, at least I moved on the right way. You know what I'm saying? You don't tear up the whole world. The moral of the story is, for you don't tear up the whole world because of a woman. Okay? Men lose their lives all the time because of these females. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They come out here, and one thing, my rule is, I don't have sex with other people's women. That's why I stay clean in my life. And then I got accused of it by you. I don't have sex with nobody else's woman. No. That's a dangerous game. Cause if not for any other reason, this dude got his whole soul and heart into this one woman. And you gonna have sex with her? You crazy. A man, the most timid man would kill you about his woman. The most timid man will kill you about his woman, buddy. I don't have sex with nobody else's women. It's too many of them. And then you all into him anyway. I'm the type of man, I want you to be for me, and I for you, right? So I ain't gonna have I don't want to be with nobody else's woman. That's just not my style. I don't get off on that. That's just not me. I never have. Now, if I was with a woman, and I'm gonna tell you like a ladies' man would tell you, if a woman was with somebody else, listen, that was her business. She came to me. She made herself available to me. Now, in the case where I have been with somebody else's woman, they made themselves available to me, and that's how it happened. You know what I'm saying? She should have never put herself in my vicinity. That's how I see it. See, that's how a player or a ladies' man gonna tell you. Listen. She knows she with somebody else. I don't. So why she over here with me then? In a motel. You go into a motel with a man, I'm sure your man ain't gonna like that. That's what happened. You come into the motel with me, but I don't judge you. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what you got going on. Maybe you don't like them. And I don't judge. But see, when I ever been with another woman and she was with a man, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't even get off on being with somebody else's woman. It just kind of happened because she was supposed to braid my hair. And so I was making money at the time, so I just got a room. It might seem like a slick move, but that's not what I was trying to do. I got a room because it was really I wanted to wash my hair. I think that's what it was. I wanted to wash my hair and everything, and I probably bought some shampoo or something because I just had money at that time. So I got a room with her, and one thing led to another. After she braided my hair, she talking about she'll leave that dude for me and all of this. And that's not my issue. Neither was I sweating her or nothing. So she got away with that, but we both did. But I don't go out and set out to be with somebody else's woman. If they put themselves in the vicinity, this is why I always blame a woman, because just like I said in my situation, I don't know what you and him got. I don't think she told. I think she might have told me later. Or doing sex. I don't know if I knew before that. I really don't know. But I really don't know. But you a grown woman. If you in a relationship, you shouldn't be in no room with no other dude. Nah, you do your hair. You listen. You tell him you gonna do his hair outside. Your man ain't gonna feel that. But see, I can't judge. Who am I to judge that situation? Especially when I partook of that situation. So, but that's where I am not liable. In that situation, she put herself in my vicinity, and hey, it wasn't even what we set out to do. It's like, so what that tell you? What that tell you, bro? My mind wasn't trying in that place. You know what I'm saying? That's how good I was doing in my life. I wasn't thirsty for no woman or nothing. I was bringing women to the room just to braid my hair. That's it. And one thing led to another. You know, that's just sometimes how adults interact. But you know, you can't lose your dignity about these women. Either way it goes, we all get burnt by these women. You know, and you talk to the best good-looking man, no homo, and he gonna tell you, listen, no matter how good you look, these women gonna hurt you because they know that's what's gonna get to you. See, sometimes it ain't that it got anything to do with you. It's that they know that's gonna hurt you. And a good-looking man gonna hurt a woman. And how she gonna hurt you back? She gonna hurt you back by showing you other men and playing with you, because she know, listen, if you a normal man, you into that woman, right? So then what she gonna do? She know you want her. She know you possessive, healthy. She know you jealous in a healthy way. So what she gonna do? She gonna show you other men, act like she having sex with other men, or she might. And you gotta be strong enough to take that. That's the real world we live in. You can't tear up the world because your woman out here stepping out on you. Even if it did happen, you can't tear up the world about it. You shouldn't, because you should have dignity. Now you get older, you realize, okay, yeah, ooh, that was bad. Because I ain't gonna play myself about no woman. No sir. No sir. No sir. It ain't gonna happen, bruh. It ain't gonna happen. Guess what? I'd rather live with the pain than live with the loss of dignity and self-respect. I can live with pain over self-respect, loss of self-respect. Ooh, when you know you played yourself and you out here looking like a sucker, talking about other stuff, but it's really about a woman. You know, come on, bro. Come on, man. Listen, man. That's how you know you ain't had no experience in the world. You ain't had no experience with women. He loved to act like he a ladies' man, but he ain't had no experience with women, because if you did, you would have dismissed her without having a kid. That's how we know. If my woman attracted to my brother, thank you, because now you saved me a lot of time, a lot of money. You saved me a lot of time and a lot of money, buddy. Just like a woman that got a pretty sister. Okay, I bring you around my sister. That's the last test. That's the final test, ain't it? You know, she got that sister that kind of look like her, but she more voluptuous or opposite. She might be more voluptuous or opposite. What you gonna do? You gonna show what you really made of. If you a man or you a boy, that you can't even be around this woman. Cause she gonna look like your woman a little bit. Think about it. She gonna kind of a little bit. That's where you gotta be like that, and that curiosity might come in your mind. You know what I'm saying? Where you know this the sister. See, you gotta be able to be man enough to say, nah, I ain't going there. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna treat that person like my sister, and that's it. But see, that's manhood. That take backbone. See, but a woman can weed a man out like that too. Okay, I'm gonna see if he can be around my sister. Now the sister come out the room. Boom. Hey, how you doing? And some dudes don't pass that test. And then guess what? That's how she weed these dudes out. I bring you around my sister. That's the last test. And that's how you should have looked at it. When you brought that woman around me, that should have been the last test. She failed that test. Okay, nope. You couldn't be around my brother. So I know you can't be around these other dudes. You know what I'm saying? You can't be around other attractive men without being attracted to one man. You're not built like that. She built like, if you attractive, she attracted to you. She can't be around other attractive men. That's what kind of woman she was. She can't be around a whole bunch of, so you can't take her nowhere. That's a man's worst nightmare. I can't take you nowhere because you attracted to other men.